So his question was, what's the process to discover what's holding yourself back? Anybody else resonate with that? I think if anything, like that's what you guys really want to know. That's an excellent question. Probably like the question of the weekend, right? What's holding me back? Why am I not getting those top-notch results? You have your own unique path that is meant for you. And when you unlock that path, not only will you have all the societal success that you need to have, if not, you're not a valuable guy, but you'll get those things much easier, and you'll also still be yourself. You'll still be truly yourself, because what a lot of people will do is they'll sacrifice themselves. You know when they say sacrifice your soul for like money or whatever? You ever heard that? Like, you know, they sacrifice their soul for success and for money. It's part, the whole soul thing is they're giving up who they actually are on the inside to get something that other people deem valuable. All right, what's up, guys? So today I'm going to do something a little bit different. So yesterday we had the deep talk, right? Talk about energy, spiritual stuff, right? Today I want to have a bit more of like a actual grounded conversation in like real business principles, things that'll actually get you more money, things that will help you to align with the right people in your life, because you know it's a pretty tough world out there. There's a lot of darkness, and so as light as you are, you also have to play the game a little bit and tune into that kind of energy. And this is like the harsh reality about being in business, right? Like you have to negotiate. There's going to be expectations that aren't met. And you know, you're gonna have to do things that you don't want. You're gonna have to work really hard. You're gonna have to, there's certain aspects of your business or even your purpose. You could be in the middle of your purpose right now, and there's many aspects of it that really suck, right? There's many aspects of it that really suck. So some of the questions that were coming up yesterday about, hey, well, I'm encountering this kind of resistance when it comes to my purpose. That's probably what they're talking about, right? They're hitting this like wall. And the reality is sometimes like in pursuit of excellence and in pursuit of greatness, you're gonna have to do things that you don't want. And you're gonna have to be ruthless in business, and you're gonna have to be extremely confident in who you are, and almost have like this presence of energy of I'm better than everybody. Now it's not that you're better than everybody. Obviously, everyone has value. But you know, do you think Marcel is up here like thinking, second guessing himself? No. Do you think I'm second guessing myself? No. We genuinely see ourselves as some of the best speakers in the world, some of the best people to connect with. And so when you tune into that kind of energy as well, you'll simply just get better results in your life. So this will be a lot more of a grounded conversation about, hey, look, you know, you want some big results, you're gonna have to work hard. You're gonna have to be consistent. You're gonna have to be diligent and disciplined in pursuit of whatever excellence you're looking for, okay? So there's a lot of different ways you can kind of chop this up, right? Now, when it comes to business and when it comes to the pursuit of your purpose and the pursuit of excellence, you know, even with this conversation, I know I'm going to lose some of you guys, right? A lot of you guys loved what I said yesterday, but here's the part where it's like, whenever I start to talk about this stuff, I just get really, like, I start ranting. I'm low on sleep. I'm on like 2 hours of sleep right now, super low on sleep. And so when I'm low on sleep, my filter goes away. And my filter goes away, I just start ranting, okay? So, you know, some of you guys are going to love this type of thing. Some of you guys aren't going to like it, but that's okay. That's good, because the people that are ready for this kind of message are the ones who are going to receive it. They're going to apply it. They're going to get some better results, right? The cool thing about me, right, of all the things that I can say that are amazing about myself, right? But, you know, genuinely, one of the coolest things about me is whenever people come around me, they just get more out of life. They have better friends. They have better relationships. They start taking care of their bodies. They become more spiritually connected with themselves. And that's a byproduct of the effect that you can have when you have compelling energy, when you know how to communicate with people, when you're just such an abundant, radiant light. Well, you know, people start to emulate that as well. And so, again, some people are going to be, you know, cool with this stuff. I'm probably cursing irreverent humor and shit like that. So the very first thing when it comes to business, who in here runs a business right now? Okay, everybody runs a business. Who works for someone else's business right now? Okay, cool. So now, when you're who here is making the money that they want? One guy. Hey, don't be humble about it. Like, throw your hand in the air. And there's always room for more, right? So, all right. So the majority of people in here are not making the money that they actually want. Why? Hand in the air. Why? Who wants to share? Go ahead.
My 9 to 5 was taken away from me.
It was taken away from you. How do you mean?
No, my 9 to 5 is taken away from me actually making the money that I need to, but I need to keep the 9 to 5 to get, like we were talking about yesterday.
Okay, so on Zoom he's saying that your 9 to 5 was taken away from you and you have to stay there.
9 to 5 is taken away from me the time I need in order to make my business succeed, but I need the 9 to 5 in order to stack cash to get.
Okay, so yeah, so he's like the entrepreneur's dilemma, right? So he's starting the business, but he also has to cover the expenses too. So it's like, 9 to 5, also working on the business. Okay, cool. So, you're strapped in terms of your time. What else? Who else is?
Catastrophizing the work that needs to be done, worst case scenarios of everything, depleting you of your energy.
Cool. Yeah, and we talked for a little bit. Yeah, I totally get that. So he gets so caught up in what's going wrong in his business, and it drains him of his energy. He can't be productive and creative, and then results go down. So okay, what else?
I'm afraid to quit my job.
He's afraid to quit his job. Why?
Because it's paying really well.
Okay, golden handcuffs.
Then it's gonna fucking just get sucked out of my life. I'm gonna run out of runway, right? You start to,
Yeah.
like he said, think about all the risks.
Yeah. Golden handcuffs. What else?
Self-sabotage because I'm good enough where I'm at.
Self-sabotaging because he's good enough where he's at. What else?
The know-how of the right strategies.
To know the right strategies. Okay. And Chance?
You're in your own head and you don't do the things that need to get done.
Okay, not doing the things that he needs to get done because he's in his own head, overthinking. Where's Alex? There you go. Stop overthinking, man. What else?
I don't know what thing to do, like what to get involved in to make that more money.
You don't know what to do? Like,
I just don't know what, like.
okay, I love this one. Okay.
I don't know what to do.
Okay, you're gonna love this. Okay, everyone said amazing things, but this one I love because this is where a lot of people get tripped up. I had a few of you guys come up to me yesterday and ask me, it's like, okay, how do I make more money? Like, what is it that I can do that I'll actually attribute to more dollars in my bank account? Now, here's the funny thing about money: it's always like the dumb shit that makes money. Like, I can't tell you how many times, like, I was on the phone. I was at my girlfriend's house and her best friend was there, and we were watching like Twitch streamers like do little dances, and like there's like some girl with big tits, like some Asian girl with big tits, like oiled them up and was just doing like the Macarena, just like dancing, and guys were like sending her money, and I'm just like, this is retarded, but she's making a shit ton of money. And then you have guys, in a bit more serious, obviously, I'm sure you're not going to do that, right? But in a more serious example, like, or more tangible example, like my assistant Drovko. Drovko's been my assistant for about a year now, and he was a client of mine last year. And while he was working, he paid to work with me, right? So he came to my Tulum immersion, put the whole thing on credit card. He was working at a computer repair store, had like no way of making more money, didn't know how it was going to happen for him. And by just having like an open mind and being resourceful in terms of like how he does business, boom, all of a sudden he starts like a social media marketing agency. I'm telling you, like he put all of his money on credit cards. 19 years old at the time, didn't know what he was going to do. Boom, now he's making like 60, 70K a month and like scaling. And he's got some crazy partnerships that are coming out of it. And so he wasn't on the stream, but if you guys know any of these like big streamers like John Zerka or Matt Man or Spencer Lee Mentality, like some of those guys, they're pretty big in like the red pill space. I don't really care about the red pill stuff, but these are like massive, like they got millions and millions of fans, and he was in the same room with them, like chilling, talking with them, So how does a 20-year-old go and do that, right? Well, the reality is money is like super easy to make when you have the right mindset, and it's always like dumb, weird things that make money. So for him, he started a social media marketing agency where he does like influencer management. So he manages influencers and manages their accounts. I've seen one of my favorite ones. One of my favorite ones is I found this guy on YouTube where he was talking about like his business journey. And he's in Canada, and he sells pressurized air cans from Canada, and he sells it to the U.S. So it's like fresh Canadian air, and he makes like $500,000, like $500,000 or more per year just doing that. It's like, and he just sells air. He gets air in a can and then sends it to the U.S. There's the YouTube stuff is crazy, right? Like there's all these like crazy niche YouTube channels where like you just talk about specific things. I mean, even what I do, it's like I just get paid to talk, So there's just so many. There's another one. I share it every single year. I just shared it last month in September. For the last 4 years, I shared this thing. I saw like a meme that it was a guy. He made like $15,000 overnight because he was streaming on Twitch or something. And like people would pay to like hit certain noises and buzzes to like wake him up. So they were just like sending him donations to wake him up in the middle of the night, So I say this, you're probably not gonna do any of those things, but I say this to tell you guys and really like hammer at home that the fact that it's like there's so much wealth out there. There is so much money, and all you have to do is just like exchange and engage with the world. It really is that simple. And on the front end, it's pretty hard because it's like, okay, well, like what value do I have to offer? Like what is it that I myself can exchange with the world so that way I can get what I want, And that's a lot of times that's the tricky part, right? Because maybe you're not morally degraded enough to do like an OnlyFans thing or something, right? Or like the girl dancing on Twitch with her tits out. But it's the same principle of that. It's the same principle of that. in order to get what you want out of life, it's actually very, very simple. So a lot of times people think that the gap to making a lot of money is it's really, really big. It's actually really, really small. Remember yesterday, one of the most important things I said yesterday, you're one connection away from changing your life forever. You're one business idea away from getting to that next level in your life. You're one client away from completely revamping your business completely, right? And a lot, especially if you run like any kind of consulting service like mine or Marcel's or some of the other guys that speak on stage, you get one good client that literally makes your whole year, right? Like Kevin was a client of mine, and I paid Kevin like maybe before he even started like working out. He's my top closer, right? But before even that, I paid Kevin like $10,000 in commissions just from referrals. Kevin would refer people over to me, and then I close them into my program. Boom, I just give him a $1,000 commission. Right, so Kevin accounted for almost 6 figures of revenue for my company last year, just one person alone, right? So when you get guys like that, and he's amazing, he's one of the best closers, he's amazing at closing, right? So when you get that type of person in your business, it just like overnight changes it, right? So that's the whole point. That next level in your business, the gap is actually very, very small. And there's a lot of other examples of just like weird ways to make money, like especially with the internet, like there's literally no excuse now. There's literally no excuse. The internet is just so powerful. It makes the world so interconnected that anything that you're interested in, as weird as it might be, right? I talked to one of you guys yesterday. You want to be a sex coach, right? And that's cool. Like I have friends that do that. I have friends that do that professionally, and they make a ton of money, right? So it's always like the weird thing that like you truly align with that you can make money. So I'm sure, is there something like that for you that you've always wanted to do but you never did because there was just not a way? How would you make money if I were to ask you right now? Like what would be the best way that you can go? Let's say if I had a gun to your head, you need to make $50K next week. What would you do?
I'd sell some stocks right now.
Okay. She said sell stock, but okay, so we're not doing that. But like what? So this is also like, guys, pay attention here. Pay very close attention here because this is like a training in resourcefulness, right? So there is no gun to your head, right? But metaphorically, if you had to go make money right now, how would you do it? And doing things like that, like sell stock, or like I'll do Uber for 11 months and I'll save 88%. Like no, you don't have to do any of that. Like there's ways that you can just like figure it out really, really quickly. So if you had to like figure it out, like what would you do? So I'll give you an example. So I've had clients that Dropco, social media management agency. Kevin got a bunch of tapped into his network and shared that with me and shared that with some of my friends. Boom, we pay him. I even give you another great example. I was talking about this with one of you guys yesterday. Outside of so Freedom Mastery is my main business, and I also have a digital program that's coming out. I also have a book that's coming out. Got a bunch of press that's coming out now. But outside of Freedom Mastery, I do a lot of like affiliate deals with like my friends because my network is so vast, right? I mentioned yesterday, I did a Tulum immersion, and my best friend that built that hotel, I send him, if I meet someone that's like a real estate investor, I'll send that real estate investor to my friend, right? And then they'll invest in the project and I get a kickback from that, right? So there's very indirect ways to make money as well. One of the most recent ones that happened to me, we're still kind of sorting out the contract and we're sorting out the deal. I was with Dropco. Dropco lives in Vegas. I live in Miami. Dropco came to Miami and had a bunch of friends there. And I came and hung out with him for a couple hours. And while we were sitting in like this penthouse in Brickell in Miami, right? And I'm talking to this guy. We're just like talking back and forth. I mentioned to him that I do these live events and they're crazy. And he goes, "Oh my gosh, I want to come to your event. It sounds so fun." So not one, he wants to be a client of mine now. And then number two, we start talking about like different things that we do outside of like the main stuff. And he goes, "Oh, I was just in Eastern Europe and I just met and connected with a bunch of people that they sell like war ammunition. They sell like, rocket launchers and grenades and, ammunition for war." And he goes, "Do you know anybody that might want to buy that?" Right? It's like, "Do you know anybody that needs that?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do know people that need that." One of my good friends down in Miami, he owns an army. Like he owns like a 4,000 person private militia in Ukraine, and they've been at war the whole year, right? So I'm sure they need ammo. So I'm talking back and forth, I'm liaising the deal. And the thing about this type of thing, right? The thing about this type of thing is, you'll get like a 10% kickback, right? So on a multi-million-dollar contract, let's say he sells $5 million worth of ammo, I get 10% just for making the connection, I'll give you more stories. I have another friend. His name's Brent, and he made like $600K in like 3 or 4 months back when COVID was like a big deal, and they were selling like the COVID equipment and the masks and the suits and all these different things, right? And what he did, kind of the same thing that I just mentioned, he kind of liaised the deal, and he made $100K per month for like 6 months straight, literally doing nothing. It was just because the deal was put together, and he like connected a hospital with a supplier or something like that, and he got 10% of the whole deal, and it was like $6 million of equipment per month was the contract, right? So there's a million other examples that I can give you, but what I'm telling you is that there's ways. There's so many ways to make money out there. It's just it requires you to think outside the box, which most people don't do. You get me? Most people have a very fixed mindset when it comes to money. They're rigid. Oh, I have to spend time to make money, or I'm not cool enough or valuable enough or well connected enough to make it happen. No, it's like a lot. I mean, look, on the front end, you're gonna have like delusional confidence, right? You're gonna have to, like when I was 21 years old and I was really, really confident in myself. I look back now, there was no evidence for me to be confident. There was literally no evidence. I wasn't making money. I wasn't, I wasn't doing anything important with my life, just in school, just kind of getting by. Right, but over time, I actually built real world value that people pay me a lot of money to experience. Okay, so as you are on that path, you have to get really resourceful. So does that kind of make sense of like give you a good idea, like, and you don't have to do any of those things that I just specifically stated. I'm sure I don't know if you know anyone that owns an army, right? But what's that?
I don't know anybody who owns
Okay. Why not? Get it together. No. But the that's the idea. It's like to figure out ways to think outside the box. You get me? Go ahead.
What if you have a lot of things that you know that you can do and you're interested in doing? All of them are online. For example, like the online space is very big on like side hustles or things you can do, and you are qualified to do like all those things, but there's so many things that you can do that you can't choose what to do.
Yeah. So she's saying in the online space, there's just so many different things that you can do. So like, how do you choose, basically? Yeah. The how do you choose is, it's kind of, it depends. It depends. Oh, let's break you down. You mind if I break you down right now? What are you good at?
I know how to make content.
What kind of content?
I have a couple of certifications for coaching or fitness.
Okay, so fitness. You're good at making content.
Yeah.
Cool. What are your skills? Like what are you good at? Like skills, like what skills do you have? Like for example, if I ask someone over, like if anybody's an engineer, anybody in here an engineer? Okay, cool. So you know how to like build stuff. What kind of engineer? Mechanical?
Software engineer.
Software engineer. Cool. So building out computer systems and apps and software, that kind of thing. So do you have any skill sets outside of like creating content and just like like fitness stuff, which is really valuable, by the way, but. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so for Zoom, she's saying how that the mentality of thinking different is something that she has like a skill set in, and with that skill set, she still has confusion about like what to step into going forward. So here's one thing, you guys. These three things, and from what you're saying, you're probably something in like the service industry, right? Is that the direction you want to go into? Something in the service industry, like any kind of like coaching, consulting, that kind of thing. Okay, so there's three things you need to know. Everyone write this down, and it doesn't matter if you're a coach or a consultant, a real estate or crypto or stock, it doesn't matter. Like if you're going to be interacting with people, you have to get these three things down. So number one, marketing, right? It doesn't matter how good your product is if no one knows about it. So people need to know about it, right? And there's a lot of different ways you can market yourself. Social media has made it tremendously easier. I can't imagine being in the days where it's like they do phone ads or TV ads or something like that. Social media has really leveled the playing field in a lot of ways, where if you just post content consistently all the time about whatever it is that you're working on, well, people will gain attention, people will see it happening, and then the people that are a good fit for what you're doing, they'll engage more with it, and those are people that are your future customers. Okay, so the first thing is marketing. And the thing about marketing is you have to stand out. Okay, you have to stand out in such a big way that it's irrefutable that you're the best person to work with, right? It's irrefutable, there's no question about it. There's a really good principle on this. There's like the 5 P's of marketing, right? It's like price, product, place, promotion. I forget the 5 P's. One of my university degrees is in marketing, right? There's 5 P's, but there's a 6 P. There's an author called Seth Godin, and Seth Godin wrote a book called Purple Cow. And that guy was, he's like, I kind of joke and say he's like he's famous for being like a big failure, essentially. He was like an early investor in Google, sold out too early, and then like if he would have kept his stock when it like blew up, he would have been like, a multi-billionaire, right? But he sold it too early, so he, like his claim to fame is just like this whole thing of like, I could have been a billionaire, but now I do marketing stuff. So so what he talks about is Purple Cow. When you drive down a road, has anybody ever driven down a country road before? Right, and you just see the cows, right? Like you see, like, I'm thinking about my girl again. She like every time she sees a cow, she's like cow, you know. But you know, every time you see a cow, right, you're like, yay, cow, right? What happens if you saw a purple cow? You'd be like, holy shit! Like picture, like where, like GPS that, like so I can come back and see it. Well, it's yeah. If you saw a purple cow, it's like that shit. You're gonna remember that forever. That's good marketing, right? So that, like, and even something as well. One of the things that I've really been intentional about cultivating, even within myself, is when people meet me, this is what they think about. And for me, right, you should answer that same question for yourself, and I'll reiterate the question. But for me, when people meet me, I want them to think I'm one of the best minds in the world, I'm one of the best communicators on the planet, and I'm one of the biggest thinkers of our generation that rivals guys like Sigmund Freud, Plato, that type of stuff. Now, obviously, like the reality of, like, and I think I'm one of the best in the world, hands down. I'm one of the best in the world. Now, the reality is that that's going to be a few decades worth of work in order for me to actually step into those levels of real world-class fame. And I don't really care about the fame part. For me, it's more about the impact that I have, the positive impact that I can have on the world, right? But everything I do when it comes to my marketing is that, right? I don't want to sound like anybody else. I don't want to sound like Tony Robbins. I don't want to sound like Marcel Klein. I don't want to sound like, I don't know, Ed Milet. I think you told me I sound like Ed Milet. I don't want to sound like Ed Milet. I want to sound like Jose Moralejo. No? Okay. Yeah, to each their own, right? But, I want to sound like the best Jose Moralejo, right? And you guys should all do the exact same thing. Sound like Jose Moralejo. No, okay. Sound like yourself, right? Sound like the best version of yourself. And that's really what good marketing is. So, doesn't matter how good your product or how good your skill set is. If no one knows about it, doesn't matter. Second thing is sales, okay? Sales is everywhere. Anybody here do like actual sales, right? Why isn't everyone's hand in the air? Okay, everyone's hand should be in the air, because if you're interacting with people, you're selling, right? Parents are selling their kids on why they should have certain ideologies. The schools are selling kids on why they should learn certain, specific kinds of material. You're selling your friends on why they should hang out with you. You're selling your partner on why they should stay with you rather than go find someone else that's better or worse, whatever the case, right? So every single dynamic, every single conversational dynamic, there's a buyer and there's a seller. And so what you want to do is you want to be the seller in situations. You want to be because the seller is usually the person that's leading the interaction. Okay, so an effective sales dynamic, it doesn't feel, anybody ever interact with like a salesperson that's like grimy or like pressury, that kind of thing, right? Well, effective sales, you don't even know what's going on. That's good sales. You don't even know that sales is happening, right? So when the understanding, just like the whole sales dynamic and how you can be a much more powerful communicator, right? That alone is going to solve a lot of your business problems. So if you want to make more money, it's like this skill set alone, if you just master this skill set, you will never, ever be short of income opportunities, right? And that's literally like where I get a lot of my value from, and where I get a lot of my expertise and my skill set from, is that I did 3 years of door-to-door sales, right? I went pounded doors. I was selling alarm systems, and I did that for 3, just pounding doors. And that just got me so out of my comfort zone and allowed me to conquer my fear so much. I have zero sales resistance. Like I have no problems asking for $50,000 whenever I'm coaching someone. I have no problems jumping on stage and asking for more money, right? And I have no problem asking for 10% of a $5 million contract. Why? Well, it's because I've eliminated all sales resistance that I have as a person, right? And I just understand the value that I provide in situations. So I'm just 100% confident. I'm 100% congruent to the value that I have. And that's a function of just being really, really good at sales. Yeah, go ahead.
So eliminate the sales resistance, is that just time repetition or?
On Zoom, he said, so elimination of sales resistance, is that just time and repetition? Yes, but also it can happen in an instant, because time and repetition implies, it's going to take a while for you to get over that.
Yeah.
I have guys, for you guys on Zoom, Arjun, if you can hear me, so Arjun's, he's one of my top clients. And he's a hell of a closer. He's making 23 years old, making $30K a month, doing high ticket closing, right? And he has an engineering degree. He's an engineer. And he said, fuck the engineering, and I'm gonna go do sales. I'm gonna go be an entrepreneur. So, he's doing that. And Arjun, I had a chat with him this weekend. Arjun's an amazing guy, right? Any girls on Zoom, you want an amazing guy, go talk to Arjun, right? And such a good-hearted soul, I love people like him. I genuinely love people like him. And Arjun, I had a conversation with him on Saturday. He was feeling a little bit down, a little bit of a sales slump. Everyone encounters sales slumps. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the best person in the world. Grant Cardone, Tony Robbins, like they all have slumps. and he was experiencing a slump. So I had a really like heart-to-heart chat with him, just kind of get him back in the zone, right? And then literally the next day he closes like 4 clients back to back to back to back, right? And he made like 3K in one day. That's awesome, right? So Arjun, if you want, because Arjun, he's in England, right? So he's the guy that's in the Gloucestershire, whatever, Gloucester, I think it's called. So where they have the Harry Potter castle, where they film the Hogwarts scenes. But so Arjun, if you want to like type into the Zoom chat a little bit about that experience of like, all right, you were encountering sales resistance, and then in one moment it was like boom, and then all of a sudden next day results. I think even some of you guys on Zoom have already interacted with Arjun. Arjun's amazing. So you can overcome sales resistance like that. It happens to people all the time. Like a lot of times, like I have a really funny story. Kevin loves this story. I had when I used to do door-to-door sales, there was this guy on my team. It was my second year, so I had already done an entire summer. Already, like, I pounded the doors, I conquered the summer, I crushed it, right? And so who in here has done door-to-door sales? You've done it for sure. Okay, so we got a bunch of people. You guys are all future CEOs, by the way. Did you last more than like 3 or 4 months? Yeah. 2 years, beautiful. You guys are all gonna be fucking successful, I promise you. Because, there's like a statistic out there that like 60% of CEOs did door-to-door sales at some point, something like that, right? You guys are all, you guys are destined for success. So after my first summer, it was super, I'm telling you, it was the most difficult thing I ever did in my life. Like I was crying, I would cry like every 3 days, and just like my emotions would come up and people would slam doors in my face. Like I had like the president of an HOA called the cops on me, and it was insane. They were like almost like trying to take me down and stuff. I'm just like, I'm just working, bro, like leave me alone. And I had a really hard breakup that summer because she was mad that I went. She was mad that I went and did door-to-door sales. She's like, well, you didn't stay here with me at school, so like we're breaking up. I'm like, bitch, like I'm fucking going after my goals, And she wasn't supportive of that. So it was just like a very like emotionally hard summer. So for me, conquering that, like of all the peak successes and peak experiences I had, conquering that summer was one of the biggest ones. Even more so than like jumping on stage and working with guys like Marcel. Like that was one of the most pivotal moments, just because it was just such an important moment. And in the aftermath of that, the next summer, I should be better, right? You would think, okay, I have, a whole year under my belt. I'm already good at this. I have longevity with this company now. You would think I did better, right? The next summer, right? Yeah. You would think so. Yeah. Yes? Yeah. Yes? You would think I did better the next summer, right? Yeah. No, I didn't. So what happened was there was this guy on the team that came on. His name is Cesar. And Cesar is a really, really good friend of mine right now. And he's still with that same company. He makes 7 figures a year. And Cesar is like, he'd never done sales before. He was like a chef or something. He worked at like a restaurant, like making food. And, he comes to this company, never did sales before. They were like, this is how they got him to come work for the company. They're like, wait, how much are you making? Like the managers were making like $500,000 a year. He's like, wait, how much are you making? I want to do that. Let's go. That was like how they got him to come. They didn't like actually have to like train him on sales or anything like that. And he had 0 sales training. Who do you think better that summer? Who do you think did better that summer? Cesar or me? Okay, because I already prepped this, you fuckers. All right, so Cesar did better, and he had the worst habits, right? Like I'm in shape, I read books. Every single morning I would wake up at 6 a.m. before we get to the doors, and I'll be reading, and I'll be training up on the process, and I'll be familiarizing myself with the tech, and I would be focusing on my mindset, get into peak state, all these different things. Cesar would roll out of bed like 30 minutes before the meeting, playing like Beyonce on his phone, and then like crack an egg and just like eat the egg and just like chill on the couch and like smoke a cigarette, And then he just crushed it. Like every single day it was closing. He was closing clients every single day. And when he started to get acknowledgement and recognition for this, and they're like, dude, how are you doing so well? And his thing was, he had 0 sales resistance. He just had none. He goes, look, these people that I'm knocking on their door, they have no idea who I am. They have no idea how long I've been doing this. So like I had no resistance. I'm just like, hey, I'm here. You're doing it. Let's go. Like, hey, I'm coming in. All right, we're looking at the alarm. All right, we're changing it out now. Like he just had 0 sales resistance. So, it does take time for most people, but also you can, in an instant, you can obliterate sales resistance, right? Like, remember, yesterday I was talking about limitless wealth is really limitless energy. So if you just have this like limitless energy about yourself, you could be a complete rookie in your industry. You could be brand new and still make massive gains, far greater than people that have been in there for 30 years. You'll blow by people that have been in the same industry for a very long time, but that's because that sales resistance, that energy, that sales mastery is there. You get me? Does that make sense? Yeah. Does that make sense for everyone here? Yeah. Cool. It's all confidence. It's literally all confidence. There's one other thing. I want to break down sales a little bit more, a little bit deeply here. You guys want to learn how to sell? Yeah. You guys want to be the best salespeople possible? Yeah. Cool. A lot of money? Yeah. Amazing. Okay. So one other thing, and then we'll come back to sales because this even goes into it. Cool. You need to learn how to negotiate. Anybody know? Anybody know what a BATNA is? BATNA. BATNA? Okay. All right, this is like basic negotiation. You need to learn negotiation. Like there's a really good book on this. It's called Negotiation Genius. I forget the author. Negotiation Genius. You need to learn how to understand. This is high level business, right? High level guys like Jan, who's making millions and millions of dollars, right? This is what they're doing all the time. They're negotiating, right? That's what you're doing even with like the credit card stuff. You're calling these companies and you're negotiating better deals. Is what you're doing, right? So negotiation is a key. It is a key skill set. BATNA, it's an acronym. It stands for Best Alternative to a Negotiated Agreement. And the best alternative to a negotiated agreement is basically your walkaway point, right? So, and you can extrapolate this to like not just business, but even like personal relationships. You know, like you have certain boundaries in a relationship. Like for me, it's loyalty, right? So if a girl's disloyal, gone immediately. There's no questions about it. That's my walkaway point. If you're disloyal, bye. You could be annoying. You could be, you know, whatever. You cannot like my anime shows or something, you know. But and you cannot like Pokemon, right? We cannot like Pokemon. But if you're disloyal, immediately gone. Or if there's no fitment long term with like our lives, gone. You know. So the same thing happens in business. If you're negotiating a real estate deal, right? If a real estate, especially with like how inflated the market is right now, there's a certain point there where you're just like, okay, I am not going to pay that much for this house, right? So if that's what they're going to stick to and they're not going to come down below a certain number, I'm out. Best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So you want to have a BATNA. Every time you engage in a negotiation interaction, you need to have a BATNA specifically laid out. It has to be very, very clear what your best alternative is. I'll give you a perfect example. I'm having a bunch of press ran for myself right now, and it costs a lot of money. And the price that they quoted me, I have connections for the press. So like the price that they quoted me, I was like, I know that you guys are way massively inflating it. But this is one of the best press companies in the world. So I negotiated with them a little bit, and I ended up talking them down 33%. So they were trying to charge me a lot of money. I talked them down 33%, and I could have gone more. I probably could have got 50% off. But the problem is, you know, after a certain, like, you have to kind of play ball a little bit, right? Like, what I don't want to do is ask for a bigger discount, spend less money, but then I get a lower quality product. Okay, so there's wiggle room when it comes to negotiation. So when you then when you understand negotiation, really it's a sales dynamic. That's really what it is. Negotiation is just a sales dynamic. Okay, and write this down. When it comes to the best negotiation outcomes are mutually beneficial outcomes for both parties. Both people win. Right? People think like, you know, a Donald Trump kind of thing, like, no, like the art of the deal, I crush my enemy. No. Like that actually ruins relationships. That actually ruins rapport in relationships. There's people in my life right now, right, that they had horrible negotiation practices, you know, 2-3 years ago. And it's really funny how they're still trying to use me and use some of my friends as like a person of reference to connect with other people. And I'll be specific. I had a friend, we were negotiating on, this was back when like the whole crypto thing was going crazy. So we were about to launch a coin, and we were putting together the coin, and he goes, oh, look, we need to go get $30,000 to launch the coin, or $40,000 to launch the coin, so that way we can pay influencers to market the coin. It's like, okay, cool. Like, where are we going to get the money from? And he goes, you know, I'm going to steal it. He goes, that's what he said. I'm going to steal it from like one of these marketing companies. I'm going to steal it from like a marketing developer for a crypto coin. And I go, and then we went into negotiation. I'm like, I can't believe I have to negotiate with you on this. Like, no, we're not. That's not how we're going to do this, bro. Like, we can pool our resources. It'll work, right? And he's like, no, I'm going to do that. So basically, he ends up like stealing $40,000 from this guy over text message, and was just like, yeah, like, whatever, bro. And I'm like, dude, what do you? The thing is, does anybody do crypto stuff? Or is anybody connected with people in crypto? Okay, so some of the biggest people in the world, they're fucking ruthless, like for real ruthless. Like, they'll kill you over like $5,000. And this guy stole $40,000, and they were like, they doxed him immediately. Doxed him is when like they find your identity, they find his address, and the thing is, here's the big problem. Here's the big problem, and why I had to negotiate with him is this was like literally a negotiation experience with him. Just like, why do I have to negotiate with you to send the money back? The problem was I introduced him to these people. So he put me in this precarious situation where they doxed him immediately, and they were like, hey, this is your boy, like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, he actually did it? Oh my fucking God, like, what the hell, you know? So it makes me look horrible. So I told him, I'm like, look, bro, they might kill you, and also send the money back, bro. If you just send the money back, all is good. Everything's fine, everything's happy. And what did he do? Nah, bro, cover for me. Just don't tell them where I live. I'm like, bro, they already know where you live. I'm like, and so we went back and forth. Is this person in my life still?
No.
Right. Yeah. Of course not. Absolutely not. So he ends up keeping the money. He ends up keeping the money. They don't kill him. They launch the coin, and then he loses all his money, all the money that he just stole, and all the reputation damage that he just did. He lost it. The coin got rug pulled immediately. He lost all his money and more. So yeah, fuck that guy. Don't fuck people over. Okay, that's the whole point here. Negotiated agreements have to be beneficial for both parties. If you fuck people over, sometimes they literally will. They'll do harm to you. They'll get violent. So. And then he ended up stealing more money from other people that I know, and then like now he's like doing high ticket sales jobs and still trying to use me as a reference. So like one of my buddies, he runs a big coaching company, a big fitness coaching company, and he goes, hey, so this guy, like he said he's good friends with you and Marcel, and me and Marcel know about this whole situation. We're like, they go, do you think we should hire him? He seems like a good guy. Seems like a good closer. We're like, I don't know, bro. So negotiation agreements have to be beneficial to both sides. Okay, now. We'll come back into sales and marketing. Anybody have any questions on this so far? Anybody on Zoom? I know Jack stepped out. Tyrell, can you check if there's any Zoom questions at the moment? Yeah, go ahead, Brandon.
Yeah, what would be a time where you wouldn't want to negotiate? Like when would be that? Because I mean, it was really cool hearing you say about like you're doing your marketing. You're like, hey, like, bro, I know you guys are charging like $2 million let's get it for 1.5 or something. So like, when would be a time where you wouldn't want to negotiate?
So on Zoom, he's asking when would it be a time where you don't want to negotiate? It'd probably be like, reputation. Like let's say my buddy that I just told you about. Would you guys negotiate with him? No. Would you guys engage with him in any capacity? No. Would you be friends with him? No. Okay, so it's some people it's very very clear, right? If they have a reputation and they just kind of seem like a person that doesn't have integrity. Don't work with obviously don't work with them. And you can kind of as you interact with more people, you'll be able to sniff this out in 2 seconds. Like you don't need to get to know someone for 5 hours in order to figure out their character, right? Like some of the best hypnotists in the world, what are they good at? They're good at profiling. So within a moment's notice, just a picture, an Instagram page or something, you can tell someone, Dave, am I right? Right? With just a few bits of information, a few bits of data, you will know exactly someone's type of personality, the kind of character that they have, okay? And so you'll get really good, especially like after you interact with a ton of people. Like I've interacted with tens of thousands of people in my lifetime. The average person meets 11,000 people in their life. The average person interacts with 11,000 people. I'm probably at like 40,000 plus, right? But that's just because, live in a big city and, done a lot of door-to-door sales. Like, so I'll get your question in a second. But so and write it down so you don't forget also. Now, with this stuff, if you encounter someone like that and they don't have integrity or you get the sense that they don't, play a ball a little bit, see what's going on. It depends on like what is actually being negotiated. Is it a house? Is it pivotal for your business, right? Like let's say the example that I gave you guys for the press company that I'm working with, I didn't have to work with them. I just go work with someone else. There's many other companies, but the person, it was a reference. He was a referral from someone else. He worked with some of my friends and he has good quality work. So I was like, okay, let me do it with you. Like I said, I have the connections to run press at cost. But the problem is I've never done it for myself or I've never done it. So I don't know how it works. So let me pay someone else. They'll run like the first package or the first outblast for me. And then, after I kind of get a hang of it, I'll even launch my own press company. You get me? So like that's the cool thing too, is like as you scale in value as a person, there's so many different ways you can chop up business, which is another thing we'll get into. But look, one of my core values, I have 7 core values. Does everybody know their core values? I love it. So on Zoom, he said a bunch of different things. My core values are wisdom, wealth, authenticity, love, simplicity, confidence, integrity, right? So that's the kind of person I am. Like I live my life religiously like that. And everything that I do, every interaction, every thought that I think, every rep in the gym, it's like, it's the wealth of life, So I live extremely congruent to that, right? Because I spent a lot of time outlining, okay, what kind of person do I want to be, right? It's literally it's on the back of my, I got a bunch of notifications. Like it's on my wallpaper, right? Like, I guess, I don't know if you guys can see it, but on my wallpaper, if you see the bottom lines, like there's like a mountain. One of my fraternity brothers took that picture. And then just on the bottom of those mountains is like my 7 core values, right? So I literally look at it every single day to remind myself that this is the kind of person I am. And it's when you're this kind of person, that's the kind of person that has amazing relationships. Negotiations are easy. Sales is easy. Marketing is easy. Cool? You guys got that? I want you guys, this is a thing I want you guys to take home. What are your core values? It doesn't have to be 7. It could be 5. It could be 10. It could be sentences like his. Figure out what your core value is, right? What are your core values as a person? And then strive to live as congruently, 100% congruent to that as you can, okay? Can you write it? Let me get his question first, and I'll come back. What's your question?
So going back to that sketchy guy you were dealing with, where you said that eventually you learn to see signs. What are some signs that you look for? Because I had a guy kind of screw me over about 2 months later, and I had friends telling me, like, I don't feel good about this guy in the beginning, and it completely, I didn't even register with them saying that, and then I completely remember that they said that in the beginning. So I'm like,
I got you. What's your name? Julius, okay. So Julius on Zoom, Julius is asking, how do you find the signs of someone who is out of integrity or someone that you shouldn't do business with, essentially is what his question was. Beautiful question, right? Everyone pay attention, because this right here will save you, it'll save you time, it'll save you heartache, it'll save you mental anguish, right? It's black and white, man. Look, it's black and white, okay? People that talk like me, very, very trustworthy in business. If they don't talk like this, or if they'll do like nefarious types of shit, mischievous types of things. That same guy that I mentioned, I always said this about him. Like, I would always tell my personal friends, I was always telling, Marcel knows him too. I'd be like, this guy's kind of a loose cannon. He's very neurotic, loose cannon, neurotic, very attention seeking. Okay, so he always needs to be the center of attention. If you're a guy, this is a key one. If you're a guy and you ever go out to like a venue, right, and your friend, and you have a friend that is always trying to steal your girl, or is always trying to like be the center of attention or talk you down in front of other girls, cut that person immediately from your life. They're not trustworthy. They're not trustworthy, right? Why? Well, it's because people that are collaborative don't need to do that to each other. You wingman each other. In fact, me and Marcel, whenever we meet girls, we talk about like, he saved my life. I was suffocating, and he pulled me out of the pool, and he gave me CPR, or he paid for my mom's surgery. Like, we just talk each other up. We talk each other up to the max, right? He's the best guy in the world. How did you land this guy? Oh, you're stealing my boyfriend from me. So we have like a plethora of lines that we use to really amplify the value. That's what a true wingman does. Someone who's a supporter for you, not even a supporter, an advocate for you. Right? Write that down. You need to find people in your team. You need to get people on your team that advocate for you, not just are there for when it's good, not just are there for when times are great, or it feels awesome, or like you got a bunch of money so you can spend it on them. No, people that advocate for you. So that way there's long-term congruency to that. Those are the kinds of people that you want in your life. Now the problem with that is that there's a big contingency of people that are the opposite of that, right? They whenever there's an opportunity to screw someone over, they take it. Whenever there's a moment where they can get away with something and no one's going to find out, they take that opportunity, right? That's not how you want to live your life. And if you're in this room, I would reckon that you're probably the kind of person who is, has wisdom, wealth, authenticity, simplicity, love, confidence, integrity, right? You're the type of person that has integrity, right? So even in those moments where they can get away with something, they still don't do it, right? Like, I have access to all of Marcel's bank accounts because we work together on business, and he has access to mine. Why? Like, we can just wire it. Like, I can wire money out of his account, he can wire money out of mine, easy, right? But no, we have that trust for each other. Genuinely, we really have that trust for each other. And so those are the kinds of people that you want to surround yourself with. Now, other like little signs, right? Like, I told you some of them. Some people that are like highly neurotic, or people that are very inconsistent in their output, right? Like this guy, incredible salesperson. By the way, like this guy that I'm mentioning to you, one of the best salespeople that I know. And he'll jump on the phone and close everybody. But the thing is, then he'll have massive drop-offs. And then, gossiping. Anybody that gossips, eliminate. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves are people that gossip, especially if it's about like my friends. If someone gossips about my friends, it's like you're like literally dead to me. You're a nuisance. You're 100% nuisance. I have that much reverence for the people that are close to me. I have no time for that shit, bro. Like, I have zero time. I have zero tolerance for people that don't absolutely support me and advocate for me. Like, I'm working on some important shit. And you guys should have, like, if you want to be that kind of person, you have to think and feel like that right now. In order for you to get to where you want to be, you have to think and feel as the person who has those things already right now. So if you were already a millionaire, massively successful, massive reputation, very, people are watching you, and you're an important person, do you have time to entertain shit like that? No. Ruthless. You have to be ruthless with people. Black and white. Black and white with that kind of thing. Did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Okay,
let me get his question. I'll come back to you. Okay. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. You got to be ruthless with that. Like, black and white. It's very clear. And it's so clear, right? You guys ever have like a breakup, and you were like really heartbroken over that person, but then like 2 years later, you're just like, man, for sure that wasn't meant for me. Like, for sure she wasn't meant for me. Like, that was not my girl. That was not my guy. Anybody ever have that before? Yeah? Yeah, well, it's because your emotions were clouding your judgment. And everyone's like, half of you guys are smiling like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Your emotions were clouding your judgment, right? So then when the emotions subside, then you can kind of see clearly. You can see black and white. Think black and white, okay? Great question, by the way. I'll come back to you, okay?
Thank you, Jose.
Yeah.
I really would model your 7 core values.
Mhm.
I've got 3 of them. Would you
Okay.
mind?
So, okay, for Zoom, if you want to, like, the 7 core values, he missed 4 of them. So, wisdom, wealth, authenticity. I'll write them up here, actually. That'll make it easier. How are you guys enjoying this so far? You resonate with it? Beautiful. Woo! Give it up for yourselves, guys. Give it up for yourselves for being out here, you know? It's very uncommon for people to be into this kind of thing. That's also, like, if you want to know another way to, like, to tell if people are meant for your life or not, invite them to this type of stuff. And if they don't accept that invitation, it's like, you know, are they in alignment with you? No.
You probably would have thought this would be useless.
Yeah, exactly. Invite them to this type of stuff because you like the people in this room, guys. These are like your future business partners. You know, these are the people, like, they're going to be your battle buddies. They're going to be your, you know, probably even future partners. You know, future lovers. Anybody looking for love out here? Liars. Rule number 1 when it comes to love. What's the first rule for finding love?
Don't give it.
You gotta love yourself first.
Yeah, well, he kind of said it first, but you said it louder, so you said
You
it.
gotta love yourself first. You
100%. On Zoom, to attract love, you have to love yourself. Okay. In that order, yeah. So that way, I remember it. Yeah, that's why I can remember it. Walski. Compartmentalize your information, guys. Walski. Wisdom, wealth, authenticity, love, simplicity, confidence, integrity. There you go. He had a question. What's up?
Yeah, so what if, like, the gossipers in your life are your mom?
He goes, what if the gossipers in your life are your mom? Yeah. Cut that bitch. Yeah, family's tricky. Okay, so, you know, on Zoom he's saying, you know, what if the one gossiping in his life is his mom? I'll come back to you, Tyrell. Give me a second. If it's like a family member, you know, it's very tricky. You know, it depends on how, like, what the love is, and obviously, like, I love my parents. I fucking love my parents to death, right? What I lacked in childhood, like, I had tons and tons of love, but I just didn't have finances, right? So, like, the household always had a lack of financial security. That's exactly why my parents got divorced in the first place. But they were always supportive. Like, I never had parents shit talk me. Like, in fact, I have the opposite. I have, like, Cuban mother thing where she's, like, too involved, you know? And so I kind of have to, like, mom, stop. Mom, stop, you know, but she's like, I love you. I want to be involved. So when it comes to that, it's like, look, here's the deal. Like, your parents are tricky dynamics, and I've actually helped save tons and tons of relationships. Like, I've had guys who haven't talked to their dad or mom in like 10 years, call them up and, like, repair that relationship. You know, because whatever, I mean, there's a certain line, like, I don't know, if your parents do, like, really, really bad things to you, then there's a line where you just, like, you know, you have to completely cut them out for real. But, you know, if she's just gossiping or, like, getting in your ear, like, no, you need to be more realistic and stuff like that, you know, all that's evidence to you is you just need to, like, stop talking about it, you know? Like, go see them on Thanksgiving, maybe limit your connection with them more. If you live in the same house with them, get out, you know? You just need to limit your connection with them, because if you're making millions of dollars and you have many lives that depend on you, right? You own a business. Like, literally, for me and for some of my friends, like, people's livelihoods are dependent upon us. So am I going to tolerate anybody, even if it's my mom or my dad, that them being in my ear? Absolutely not. Like, you have to have that same level of boundary, even with people in your life. Now, you obviously have a little bit more patience for that kind of thing, because they're they're a direct connection. You know, you can choose your friends, but you don't choose your parents, kind of thing. But what you'll want to do instead is, like, you want to almost coach them. Write this down. Most of your problems when it comes to your relationships are a communication problem. Most problems in your relationships, whether it's your romantic partner, your business partner, your parents, is a communication problem. Okay? And when you have very effective communication, you can almost coach them out of this type of thing. I literally did this with my mom. One of the things my mom used to do, my mom, again, she's super supportive. She's just like, she tends to get too involved. And, like, you know, I remember I had a girlfriend when I was like 21, 20 years old or so, my first girlfriend ever. And we broke, my mom, like, forced me to break up with her, basically. She's like, you've been with her for 5 months. That girl's bad news. You, like, why are you wasting your time? She's trying to move to university with you and all that stuff. And I'm like, yeah, she's my girlfriend. She's like, no, like, she's gonna ruin your life. So she gave me this whole speech, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll break up with her. So I broke up with her. And guess what the fuck my mom did, right? she still hung out with her. They would still go get dinner and like go get their nails done and talk on the phone. I'm like, what the fuck? You tell me to break up with her and then like, you know, so shit like that. Yeah. So I had to kind of like sit down with my mom. Another thing my mom used to do that's less of like on the gossiping side. My mom, because she's like, you know, moms are very nurturing, right? They want to know what's going on, right? And my mom would actually create anxiety for me. And I realized this maybe like 4 or 5 years ago or so, that I realized a lot of my anxiety that I experienced wasn't me, or it wasn't like a self-doubt thing. It was that my mom, whenever she like the way she like engages and the way she like, I guess, finds comfort is knowing that you're okay, knowing that me and my brother and my sister are okay. So like literally, like I remember when I came back from university and I started spending more time with my parents, my mom would be like, hey, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Oh, what's wrong? Are you okay? What's wrong? And I'm like, can you like, what the fuck's going on? Can you chill? You know? And she, like, what's wrong? What's it? Are you okay? I'm like, look, because so if I ever had anxiety or maybe I was feeling a bit serious, I'm very congruent to my emotions, guys. Like if I feel pissed off, I'm gonna be fucking pissed. If I feel happy, I'm gonna be happy. If I feel sad, I'm gonna be sad. Like I don't fucking fake shit. Super authentic, right? Because however I show up is like that's my most powerful self in that moment. So if I was feeling like maybe a little bit more down and we're getting dinner out of, I remember one of the times I actually had to like give her coaching because I had anxiety come up for me. I was at a restaurant with me, my mom, and my brother. And my mom's like, are you okay? Do you need anything? You want water? Do you want coffee? Da-da-da. And I'm just like, Mom, look, however I'm feeling, I'm fine. Your moments, and I told her some along these words, like, look, your moment for being my mother is gone. I'm not 18 anymore. I'm a man. I was like 25 or 26. I'm 28 now. I was like, look, I'm a full-grown man now, okay? So I know why you're asking these questions, but I want you to know that by you asking these questions, you're actually creating more anxiety for me. You're giving more attention to it, you're calling it out, and it makes me feel worse, okay? So if I ever feel like, you want to know how you can help me? She goes, yeah, I want to know how you can help me. Just chill. Just like, I'd be like, not pretend like it's not there, but just like stop talking, you know? Stop trying to point it out. Stop trying to help, because by you trying to help, you're actually making it worse, okay? Say it again?
Did it work?
Yeah, it did. No, 100% it worked, because it's like, oh, okay, so because the thing is, she just wants to help me, right? So she realized that she wasn't helping me, so then she adapted. So you know, you can even give them coaching. Coach the people around you, right? Like every time I get people that are like, oh, my parents don't listen, or like my mom doesn't listen, or my partner doesn't listen, I'm like, no, you're just not communicating properly. So, and that's the hard part, to take responsibility. That's like the most difficult part. To take responsibility is hard because like your ego, no, fuck them. No, they're wrong. No, they're the ones trying to hold me back, right? But the reality of it is, it's like, you know, you can either play into that and just like let that be your current reality where like people are holding you back, or you can take complete responsibility, which, you know, is very a mature thing to do on the front end, although it might be painful, and then figure out a way to penetrate them in a different way. Or that's a horrible word to use. Figure out a way to get the message across, okay? So, you know, don't penetrate your mom, please. Does that help? It's so almost like, so just to kind of concisely summarize that, great question, by the way, because I'm sure, does anybody else resonate with that kind of question? Like, how do you talk to your parents? How do you talk to your partners? Yeah, amazing question. Because, yeah, these relationships are tricky, but like you almost coach them into it because you're the leader, right? You're the one that's like, and you do so, and you even have these conversations from a place of like no moral superiority. Look, I'm not better than you. I don't want to make you feel bad, but like this is where I'm at. I'm curious, where are you? Okay, cool. So, okay, that's where we're at. Here's how I want to reshape this, because the way we do this now isn't working, because it doesn't work for me in this way. And I'm not saying you're doing this on purpose to hurt me, or you're like trying to sabotage me, but like this is how it's coming across. Do you see that? Like, am I crazy here? Or, you know, like, do you see it? Okay, because here's the thing, bro. Like when people genuinely care about you, and, you know, and if they actually want to help you, they'll listen, and they'll be like, oh, you know, I never saw it like that. Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I have been doing that. Okay, I'm sorry. I really am sorry. And you apologize, and it's a beautiful moment. Does that answer your question?
It does, thank you.
Cool, amazing. Tyrell, give me a question up there. So he got, for Zoom, what do you do when your parents don't believe in your entrepreneurial venture and they tell you to get a job? Go get a job. No, I'm kidding. It depends on what the entrepreneurial venture is. You know, you got to do both. Here's the thing. Look, your parents don't want you to fail. They don't want you to not succeed. They actually want to help you. But when you tell them, I want to go be a rapper or something, I don't know, like I want to go be a hypnotist, a coach, you know, I want to go do drop shipping. They're like, I want to be a crypto investor. They're like, what the fuck are you doing? They think you're throwing your life away. So again, all relationship problems are a communication problem. So if you were to communicate your vision, your goal, your entrepreneurial venture to your parents in a way that they were like, huh, actually, like, that actually might work, right? If you did that instead of just being like, meh, like getting angry about it, like pouting like a child, well, you might even get your parents' support. I'll give you guys a story. I had this client named, his name is Brady. And Brady had literally, this was exactly one of his problems. Brady was, he was in university studying shit that he didn't want to do, right? Like he was doing, like studying Japanese and like exploratory. So like he didn't have like an actual major. And, you know, Brady came to me and was like, oh, look, dude, I want to drop out of university, but the thing is my grandpa's paying for my tuition. So my grandpa prepaid my tuition, so if I drop out, he's going to fucking bitch at me. And I go, well, okay, well, don't just drop out. Like, so what do you want? Here's the conversation I had with. What do you want to do? He goes, look, I want to go do music. It's like, okay, so you want to go be a musician. And here's what I told him. Look, instead of just dropping out, if you just sat down with your grandpa and explained to him exactly what you were going to work on, and you were able to lay it out in a way that, like, dude, create a business plan out of this, right? Like, okay, so you want to do music. You want to go make music, right? Okay, so tell your grandpa in very precise terms how you intend on making money for music, how long it's going to take for you to get an ROI, where you expect to go with this, what kind of music you want to start. Like, fuck it, a business plan. Do a PowerPoint presentation for your grandpa, and I guarantee if you showed him that before you dropped out, then your grandpa might even support you. And it's not even about like getting your grandpa support or, you know, even the whole thing I told him was like, oh, look, why don't you try to get your grandpa to give you the college tuition money so that way you can invest in your business, in your, you know, your music, get the equipment, hire sound engineers and shit like that, right? And he's like, oh man, I didn't think about that, right? So this is how you think. This is how rich people think, by the way. They think about where the opportunity is rather than the limitation, right? So the average person that encounters this thing where, oh, my parents, they want me to go get a job and like not be an entrepreneur, right? They just think like, they think like the opposite of like, oh man, my parents are holding me back. No, I would even take that as a challenge, right? Imagine if you just walk into, like, let's say you go on Shark Tank and, you know, you're just like, hey, give me money for this business. You think Kevin O'Leary's going to give you money? Hey, you know, I got this thing. Can I have $1 million for 1% of my company? Would you invest in that? Nope. You have no idea what's going on, right? So kind of the same thing. It's like you can look at your parents that same way. If they don't support your vision, treat it like Shark Tank. It's like, hey, so mom and dad, I'm looking here. I'm looking for a $250,000 investment for 15% of my company. And the way my company is this. And the way I intend to make money is, you know, in the first quarter, we're raising seed round finance seed round 1, and then we're going to raise this much money. In that money, what we're going to do is we're going to invest in marketing, we're going to invest in ads, and we're going to do this with it. We expect to get a return on investment here. We've already done X amount in sales revenue because of you know, our organic marketing, and with your help, I can actually make this something real, right? You think if you sat down and you showed your parents that kind of thing, like, you think they'd be on board with it? 100%. 100%, right? Look, here's the reality of it. Entrepreneurship is scary too. You're going to have to conquer some demons. You're going to have to step out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to overcome limiting beliefs in order to be an entrepreneur. And the very first one is, you know, if there's someone in your life that you know that you need to have a difficult conversation with, don't avoid the conversation. I've always been like this myself, by the way. Like, there's some things I can train into people, but there's other things. It's like, whenever there was a difficult situation in my life, I steered into it. I didn't run away. I don't fucking run away. I steer into it. And, you know, my client, like, as much as I coached him for a little bit, and then, you know, a couple of other complications came up. It's like, all right, look, if you fail at one thing, great. But if it's continual failure to do the things that I tell you, it's like, okay, like, you're not coachable. I don't work with people that aren't. One of the core requirements for people to work with me is, are you coachable? I ask every single person, are you actually coachable? And if they say, yeah, bye, gone. I need 100% yes. I'm ready to go. That's the kind of response that I need. So, and even still, what I end up telling my client to do, I was like, look, you're not my client anymore. However, I'm going to tell you this one thing. You have to call your grandpa back. You have to explain to him the situation. Do what I told you to do 3 months ago, and try to repair it. And again, the whole point is not to get your grandpa's money, but it's like the energetic declaration to the world of what you want to do. Remember, energy equals wealth. And so the energy that you pour out into the universe with no intention of reciprocation is going to determine the outcomes that you get. And so it's not about getting support from people, or it's not about, you know, making $1 million, but it's more about the declaration of who you intend to be, right? So as a young man, right, my intention for him was to be the type of young man who has an intention of being at his best and doing things that are scary and leaning into the uncertainty and having difficult conversations. And he didn't follow through with that. So I'm like, hey, you know, yeah, sorry, bro. Like, I can't have you as a client anymore. Because the thing is, one bad apple poisons the whole bunch. A drop of poison water poisons the whole well. So it might be tough, it might be brutal, right? You might call me an asshole for that, right? Young guy looking for guidance, pays me, and then I fire him. You might call me an asshole for doing that, but here's the reality. I know what is going to produce results and what isn't. And if someone can't get with that program, I'm not, look, I can't help everybody, okay? I can only help people that want to help themselves. I think it's really funny when people are like, I just want to help people. Like that's like their, some of you guys might even have that, right? I just want to help people. I'm like, no, I don't want to help people. I want to help people who want to help themselves. I have a very specific type of person that I want to help, because the reality is you can't help just anybody. You can't help just anybody. At a certain point, people have to help themselves. Yep. Amen? Yeah? Say yes? Yes. You're going to help yourselves? Yeah? Yeah. Woo! Okay. Great question, by the way. But, I just want to give you guys like just a good explanation of this, because this is pivotal. It's not just about your parents, but it's about everybody in your life, right? In order to gain advocates for your life, you're going to have a very compelling call to action. And in order to have a very compelling call to action, you have to be very strategic with what your action steps are. Because when you can explain those action steps to people, it's really crazy how they get on board with you. Does that make sense? Yes? Yes. Cool. What's your question, Julius?
I want to add, like, if you help the wrong person, it's actually like 5 times more destructive, like, to you and everything you've done. Like, If you help the wrong person, and look, there has to be some level of like reciprocation. Again, one of the best negotiation strategy is one where there's mutually beneficial outcomes. But if there's a relationship that you're pouring into and you're not getting anything out of it, and you're just wasting energy, like, yeah, of course you're gonna be worse off. Your energy is sacred. Energy is sacred. And so if you pour good energy into a poisoned well, is that gonna fix the well? Yeah? No. Say no. Okay. This is like when girls like try, I'm going to fix him. Girls try to fix the bad boy, right? I'm going to fix him. No, I can change him. The reality is like, look, black and white. People are how they are. And, you can change them, you can influence them, but the thing is people are going to be the way they are. So that's exactly why, but by the way, this is exactly why my coaching company blew up. And it's because I didn't spend remember, energy is sacred. So I spent 0 time with people that were kind of wishy-washy, kind of on the fence. No, I had people that were like 1,000% ready to go, 1,000% a perfect fit for what I am doing. And it translated to instant results, because I wasn't spending all this energetic bandwidth with like people, I hope they do I hope they do. I hope they're with it. I hope they're really excited about it. I hope they like do the action steps that I gave them. No. It was that there was none of that. I didn't spend a single time. And if I happened to have someone that fell through the cracks and got inside and I gave them action steps and they didn't follow it, gone. And especially now that like my coaching program is more of like a networking group dynamic to it as well. I do one-on-one with people, but there's also there's a network of people that are also crushing it all over the world, right? One bad apple poisons a whole bunch. If one person's not getting results, what does that say about the quality of the clientele? It's down, right? You're the average of the 5 people you spend time with most. And so the people that you associate with, right, are going to dictate the outcomes that you get. So if someone isn't taking action, it would be a tremendous disservice for me to keep people like that in my network, honestly. And as much love as I have, like I said, guys, like as much love as I have for people, this is also like almost like the dark side to business. Sometimes people have really good intentions, but they're just not cut. They're just not fit for it. You got to let them go because it's holding you back. And it's also holding them back as well. So, be more black and white with that type of stuff. But yeah, great question. Hey, Tyrell, is there another question on Zoom? Okay. On Zoom, it was funny. So on Zoom yesterday when we were doing like the lions roar, on Zoom there was a bunch of people like commenting, It was like roar in typing is like was like all caps. That was funny. How are you guys feeling? Good. You guys feeling energized? Yeah. All right, stand up. Everyone stand up. You already know what's coming, huh? Okay. We're going to reset the room here, okay? Now, before we do the lions roar, okay? And if you're on Zoom and you're at home, even if there's people in your apartment, even if there's like a baby sleeping, if there's a baby sleeping, don't wake up the baby, like scream into a pillow or something. But if you're out in the street or something, just go crazy. It's only weird if you don't fully 100% participate, okay? Again, and you want to scream and let go of that energy from your diaphragm, from your belly, not from your throat, from your diaphragm, your belly. Unleash the energy, be completely 100% letting go. No one here is judging you. We're all in the same family. This is one weird family of a bunch of random randos, okay? And even our friends at Zoom do the same thing.
And when I count to 3, I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, go. You guys are gonna let your lions roar. You're gonna unleash it, and you're gonna send out that energy into the world. Okay, you guys ready? Yeah. You guys really ready? Yeah. Woo! All right, 1, 2, 3, go! Yeah, baby. You guys are funny. Take a seat. Take a seat. You guys are funny. You guys like doing that? Well, look, so one of the things I was talking about yesterday, right? I'll circle back to some of the stuff I was mentioning yesterday, because the reason that this is so fun and so liberating is because that energy is inside of you. So when that energy is just trapped and stifled and not going anywhere, well, it gets more stale. A lot of times, think about like indigenous tribes again, right? They were like around a campfire, they were dancing, they were yelling, all these different things, right? So the way we live life now, it's very like opposite of that, right? We just go home, we watch TV, or we watch YouTube on our phone. In fact, we suppress ourselves so much that's why we die in early death. With all the medical advancements that we have, 45-year-olds are getting heart attacks and dropping dead. Okay, that shouldn't be happening. Okay, and it's because there's a lot of trapped energy inside of you. So if you guys want, I can. Yeah, this is even one of the things that I'm even putting I have a digital program coming out soon, and in the bonuses, I'm putting some of this, like some of these kinds of exercises, because I'm not a big exercise kind of person, by the way. I'm not a big exercise kind of person. Like, if I have to tell you to go watch a guided meditation in order for you to like do something, like I feel like that's super basic personal development. I like to get real deep. I like to get I love depth to a degree that like people get scared. Like, you guys know what I'm talking about here, where it's like you get so deep that people are like, oh shit, like this is like, we're uncovering all the skeletons in the closet, right? So, I'm gonna add a couple of like these exercises because I think people just do want them, but generally speaking, like, I'll never tell you to like, go meditate for 20 more minutes. Like, no, go journal your thoughts down. I think like, I'll never give that as an action step outside of, your journaling, so that way you can gain clarity out of what it is you want to do with your life. I think that's a very productive thing, but I don't necessarily think more meditation is going to solve your problems. I don't think a guided release is going to give you like a massive breakthrough in your life where everything's better in the aftermath. No, I think tried and true principles of business growth, success, attracting the right people, of being at your very best, that's ultimately what creates high quality results. Because like I was saying yesterday, right, the strategy doesn't matter, right? Marcel was saying this at the very end of the day. The strategy for success doesn't really matter. It's more so the person applying the strategy. I was just talking about Shark Tank. On Shark Tank, does anybody know, who in here is an entrepreneur? Who here is a venture capitalist? No VCs in here. Are there any VCs on Zoom? That'd be pretty cool if there are. So this will be a pop quiz question for you guys. When it comes to venture capitalists and investors buying companies, what's the most important thing that they look for? If you had to say, what would it be?
ROI.
Okay, founder, there's ROI. Okay, that's good. What else?
Competence and numbers.
Oh, no. You missed one word, huh?
Is the end product already making money?
It's that these are all true. The founders is the closest. So write this down. It's not the how much profitability or the good product or anything like that. It's the executive board. It's the founding team. It's the founding team and the people that are running the actual product. You can have a perfect program. You can have a perfect business. You can have a perfect idea, something that's revolutionary, like the new iPhone, the thing that's going to take over the world, the new AI. But the thing is, if the management team isn't absolutely impeccable, people that are ambitious, people that are resourceful, connected, people that are powerful, influential, that are dedicated to the vision, they literally won't buy it. They won't invest. I had one of my university degrees is I have a degree in entrepreneurship from the Jim Moran College of Entrepreneurship at Florida State University. And Jim Moran he poured $100 million into this entrepreneurship program to like really blow it up and scale it. And I was a part of the first class of that, which it's a pretty big deal. I was part of the first class, and I was also president of the Young Entrepreneurship Society at my university. So I was typed with all the professors, like the good ones at least. A lot of them were like, but some of them were actually really good. And one of my professors, the one that I talked to the most, he was a venture capitalist, and the only reason he worked at the university was for the pedigree, to say, oh, I'm a professor at the Jim Moran College of Entrepreneurship at Florida State University. So me and him used to talk all the time, and this was one of the biggest things that he talked about. When he would buy companies, he had crazy projects that he was working on. He would show me some of them and show the class, and it didn't matter how good the project was. If the management team wasn't epic, if they weren't amazing, like good speakers, compelling people, good leaders, that type of thing, right? They wouldn't invest. And he would train this into the class. And the way he would do this was almost like a Shark Tank situation where we would come up with like a business idea, even if it's like a simple one, like nothing too crazy, and we would pitch it to him in front of the class, and he'll grill us as if it's they call it what do they call it? It's like man, I forget. There's like a specific word that I used to call it. It was like the incubator or something like that. But basically, you would go in front of the class, and they would grill you about what your business is and what your idea is, right? And he was so harsh that people wouldn't even get 60 seconds into their presentation. He'd like, get the fuck off. Like, he literally cursed at us. Like, he'll be chewing on, like, you can't smoke cigars indoors, right? But he'd be chewing on a cigar in the back of the room and be like, get the fuck out, you suck. Like, he'd like talk like that to us. And me and one other student were the only ones he actually let us finish the entire pitch, right? And it's because I spent enough time with him to understand it's like, oh shit, I need to have like communication skills and speaking skills on point in order to get my ideas across, in order to get them to listen to me, right? Going back to sales, everything is sales. Right? And effective sales is effective communication. And effective communication is extremely powerful. It's one of the most powerful things in the world. Okay? So in that way, it's like the same way you can repair many, many relationships in your life. And actually, like, you can turn relationships completely around. You can turn relationships that are like meh into things that are really, really beautiful. Obviously, it requires communication on both ends. But the reality of it is like, in order for you to get to where you want, in order for you to get to where you want to go, communication skills imperative. Okay? Was there, Tyrell, wasn't there other questions? Someone else had a question here that I think I might have skipped over. Was it on Zoom? No, oh, it was Kane. Kane, what was your question?
Oh, it was just a while ago when you were talking about dealing with judgmental friends and whatnot. Do you call them out on it and like try to help them change and then give up on them, or do you just walk away?
On Zoom, he was asking, for judgmental friends that are that way, do you call them out or do you walk away? So it depends on what the context of the relationship is. If it's someone that like I actually care about, I'll like have a conversation with it and call them out. I mean, here, okay, write this down. If you guys want like if you guys want permission to completely roast someone and destroy them, write this down because it's really, really funny. So you say, are you open to some critical feedback? Say that. So whenever you have to give someone, if you have to have like that kind of conversation, Kane, you go, hey, are you open to some critical feedback on that? and then they can't say no, because if they say no, that means they're not open-minded. That means like they don't care about your opinion, so fuck them anyways. And then if they say yes, you just have full permission to just like unleash on them. Don't go too hard, Kane. Right? I know you got that anger in you, but Kane's a slayer. But and then but you can just be honest with them at that point. It's like, hey, by the way, like you're saying this, and this about like X person that that lens is so toxic. I don't like it, and that's not how I think. That's not the kind of person. That's not the kind of people I tolerate in my life. By the way, this goes not just for like judgmental friends. This goes for friends that you have problems with, right? Like even my buddy that I just mentioned before that stole a bunch of money, right? He stole a bunch of money from people that were like really powerful and very pissed off. Let me tell you. Even him, I still had patience. If there's one thing you guys will know about me, it's like if there's someone like actually on my team, if there's someone I coach, if it's a person that works for me, if it's a personal friend, a romantic partner, I will literally die for you. I will lay my life on the line in order to protect you. And so whenever I have personal friends that do like rambunctious shit like that, it hurts me. It genuinely does. And so I still, even after all that shit, I was like still trying to be like, hey, so trying to like make sure it was all good and trying to look out for him. And this has only happened a couple times in my life where that I have to sit down and have like an honest and open conversation with people where I have to literally explain to them, hey, by the way, look, I love you, man, and I'm not trying to like tell you how to live your life, and I'm not trying to be a dick to you either way, but this kind of behavior, I don't tolerate it in my life anymore. Look, I love you to death, man, and I would love to have you as someone that I can grow with and build with, and we can work together on certain things. But if this is how you're going to behave, I literally can't have you in my life, right? I have a lot of things on the line. I have important people that are in my circle. I have things that I want to do, and this kind of behavior is not in alignment with that. Okay, so take what you will with that. I wish you the best of luck, but we're no longer friends. So it might even require like a difficult conversation like that. But you have to have those kinds of conversations because the what's up, buddy? Everyone say hello, Dropco! Woo! I was talking about you earlier. Yeah. I'll come back to Drofko. Drofko is a really interesting character. But so if you need to have like conversations with people like that, don't be afraid of it. One more quick story. We'll move on with some other stuff. I got some other goodies for you. What's up?
For masterful communication, what materials would you recommend?
Like reading material?
Yeah, reading or online. If there's someone you follow, someone you recommend.
Freedom Mastery with Jose Moralejo. No, okay. The best book on communication. I think this is going to sound weird, but Reality Transurfing.
Okay.
Sean? Yeah, there you go, Sean. Yeah. Reality Transurfing by Vadim Zeland. The thing about like even communication skills, like the technical skill set for communication only accounts for 20% of the result. This is a Pareto principle. There's a Pareto principle to communication. 20% of your results when it comes to your communication is like the words you use and the structure of which you use them and in what order and like the actual words. 80% of it is nonverbal energy, nonverbal energetics. Okay, so and write this. This is most guys. You should write this down and like staple it to the top of the paper. Energy is communication is nonverbal energy. It's nonverbal communication. It's the confidence that you have in situations. So, and the interesting is when your confidence is there, the self-connection is there, the alignment with who you are, and it's very, very deeply rooted in yourself, well, communication, the words just seem to find themselves. The words just kind of roll off your tongue. They're there. So whenever someone asks me questions like this, I always recommend something like Reality Transurfing. It's by this Russian author. It's like a $70 book, crazy book. When I found out about that book, this is one of those books where like I found out about it in like 2018, 2019, and I still read it every day till now. Like I have it on audiobook and like I have like the audio playlist, and I listen to it almost every single day because it's just that insane. But that book helped me to align with myself in a deeper way, and so my communication just like started fucking going through the roof. So Reality Transurfing is good. If you want to learn like some of the technical skill sets of like sales and communication, there's Marcel's book is really good, Unlock Your Mind. And then there's also anything from Brian Tracy. So like The Psychology of Selling was one of the first like actual sales books by Brian Tracy. The Psychology of Sales is what it's called. Amazing book. And then Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. Never Split the Difference. And that book is a lot about negotiation, right? So like if you're in a hostage, the guy was like a CIA interrogator or something. But if you're in a hostage situation, someone's robbing a bank and they have hostages, are you going to negotiate with them? It's like, okay, you can keep 2 people, kill them, but the other 8, let them go. Like, no, you're like, you cannot split the difference. Like you have to get all the people back. That'll be pretty bad if like they all died, right? So it's like how to communicate in such a way where you don't have to split the difference, right? Like the price that you ask for is the price that they're going to pay. They won't negotiate with you. And there's like a couple of like little techniques and shit that they use. But to be quite honest, man, like you can even Spidey talks about this. One of the best behavioral analysts in the world. He's a world-class mentalist. He's a world-class magician, hypnotist. Has gone on all the craziest shows. But even he says this is that even the technical skill set of understanding some of this stuff, it doesn't fully account for what actually is going on, right? Because like let's say it's like, oh, if they look to the top and the right, that means they're lying. But is that true for everybody? No. So in order for you to like actually have communication, or even just in like a mentalist way, in order to be able to profile someone appropriately, you need to establish a baseline. So you need to understand like what kind of tics and twitches and things that they do normally, and then if they deviate from that, that means that there's some incongruency of what they're saying, right? Well, kind of the same thing with communication, where like all the little technical skills, like maybe they add like a notch or two to your effectiveness as a communicator, but the majority of your effectiveness is going to come from your energy, your confidence, your presence, your power, your self-connection, your ability to be in control of yourself, and then ultimately it's like the words just kind of find themselves. I think that's a good elaboration. Alex, go. Yeah, so for Zoom, he's asking about what are some specific exercises that you can do to like maximize your communication skills. One of them is like the whole lions roaring thing is like like that whole thing. I have like my spiritual teachers, my spiritual mentors. They do this thing called energetic embodiment exercises. So like they've taught me a bunch of like crazy. I wouldn't be able to teach it to you guys because it's like it just doesn't really make sense. It's a very like weird thing to explain. Even to the point where like I barely understand it, but I do it and it works, And a lot of times it's like the emotional release is what allows your confidence to come through. What you said about like Marcel going to the mall and approaching a bunch of people, all that is repetition. It's just repetition, like repetition. Like I said, the average person talks to 11,000 people in their life. That's the average person. In 70 years or whatever, instead the average lifespan is 72 years. The average person talks to 11,000 people. I've talked to 4x that, and I'm at 25% of my life if I live to 72, which I'm probably going to live longer. One of my life goals is I want to live to 106, so I can live into the 2300. But because I was born in 1994, so 100 plus 6, 106. So it's just repetition, bro. Like get out there, have as many repetitions as you possibly can. Like even today, Marcel goes, "Hey, do you want to speak for 4 hours?" I was like, "Can I speak for 5?" He goes, "Well, we might run out of time." I'm like, "Can I speak for 5?" He's like, "Okay, fine." But the reason is repetition. Like whether it's on stage, whether it's in the gym. How do you build big muscles? You have big muscles. How do you build big muscles?
I appreciate it, first of all. And yeah, repetitions.
Repetition, right? He's like, "Oh my gosh."
Honestly, that goes down to a scientific point too, because in order to build more muscle instead of doing less reps, you have to do like 4 to 6, you have to do 8 to 12 reps instead.
Correct. So he's talking about like the science of building muscle. It's like you need to do certain reps, and you need to have time under tension, and you need to have the right nutrition in order to catalyze growth and repair the muscles when you go in there and tear them. So yeah, that's true. But and that's even the cool thing about just like your health and fitness, right? You can't lie about your health and fitness. You can't lie about your physique, right? Like I work out and it's clear. I can't let's say if I was like 300 pounds, I can't be like, yeah, I work out. It's like, you're a fucking liar, So even the same thing with communication. High level communicators can kind of like see the bullshit. But the average person wouldn't be able to. That's exactly why someone who's like massively confident but doesn't have a lot of like sales skills is at a tremendous benefit to someone who has all the sales skills but no confidence, right? You want to be, if you had to pick one or the other, confidence. Because the thing is, the skill set, like, bro, like the skill set doesn't matter, bro. Like, there's so many different ways to like approach the communication thing. You get me? But a lot of it is like, I call this. I was talking about this with one of the guys on the executive board last night, where I call this even finding your voice. If you run any kind of coaching company, anything that has to do with speaking, the same way like you hear a lot of musicians and artists and rappers and shit talk about this, where they find their voice, where they they try the music thing, they don't get success, they're not going they're not going anywhere, they don't feel like they're having fun, but all of a sudden all the success comes all at once, and it's because they found their voice. And so their music is more compelling, the music is more it catches people, it's a more rhythmic, it's like hypnotic to people, so it sucks them in. Well, kind of the same thing when it comes to building this high-level communication skill set, the same thing happens too, where as you're finding your voice, you get better at it. So in order to find your voice, you need repetition. You need go record content. One of the things I used to do, like Marcel used to go to the mall. If you want like a specific exercise, I used to do this to get good at recording content on camera. Back in late 2018, early 2019, when I decided that I wanted to start building a personal brand, I was terrified of being on camera. Was anybody at Mindset Mastery seminar back in August? Was it August? You were, yeah. So you guys were there. Remember that video I showed on screen of me talk? I was like in a dorm room and I'm like, hey guys, like my name's Jose. You guys remember that video? Yeah. I had this video, so for everyone else who doesn't know, you remember that, right? I had this video where I was 19 at the time, and here's what it is. A friend of mine recruited me to like this pyramid scheme company where it's like, all right, you get your friends to join and then you make money, one of those types of things. And I was like practicing giving my pitch on camera, because a lot of times we would do like Zoom meetings with people and get them to sign up. And it was like one of my first times just turning on the camera and talking about myself. And I had like this horrible Miami accent. I'm like, hello, my friend, my name is Jose, and I do this. It's just like horrible, right? And the background is super shitty. It looks like I'm in a prison cell. And I just have no confidence. But I had the intention, so I was like putting myself out there, but I had no confidence. What I started to do in 2018, 2019 was after, I did a bunch of door-to-door sales, I had a tons of repetition under my belt. But then what I started to do was every morning for like 60 days straight or something, I was pretty consistent for a while. Every morning for like 60 days, as soon as I woke up in the morning, I would turn on my camera and be like, hey, for like 2 or 3 minutes, right? And then I worked my way up to 5 to 10 minutes. But every morning I'd be like, hey, what's up? So, another morning video, day 34, what's on my mind? I'll just say whatever's on my mind. And I did it right when I woke up. So that way there's like no filter, because you're still like a little bit in trance. You're still like in alpha waves rather than beta, where you're just like work. So I was like, I'm just thinking about, the thing I got to do today, and then I'll hit the gym and blah, 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 blah. But just get good at like just talking. So that, I did stuff like that too, where it's just like doing that skill set. Now I just turn on the camera. It's like easy. right? Like, and I do one take. I do 1 to 2 takes. If I don't, if I'm like recording content for like Instagram Reels, YouTube videos, whatever, if I don't get it in 2 takes, I stop the video. I'm done. You know. So yeah, try something like that. Just repetition, get it done. Yeah. You had your hand up first.
How do you overcome the frustration of having a vastly superior product than your competitors, but seeing them still get your clients because they just deliver what they have way more confidently? Because I'll have confident moments, but then I always have that underlying fear that will just turn off for no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have wavering confidence. So he was saying, how do you deal with the fact that you have a superior product to other people, but they have better marketing, so they get all the business? So you have wavering confidence right now. What you need is unwavering confidence. Guys, write that down. You need unwavering confidence in your life. It's if confidence wavers, it's not real confidence. If confidence wavers, it's not real confidence. Write this down also. Even when I don't feel confidence, I am confident. Even when I don't feel confidence, I am confident. A lot of times me and Marcel differ on this one thing, right? He talks a lot about peak state, peak state, peak state. Get yourself in a peak state. Fuck peak state. Fuck that. Why not just be confident all the time? Why do you need to be dependent on going, yay, in order to be in a peak state? Yeah? Anybody understand what I'm saying here? You get where I'm going with this, right? Like, why not just be confident all the time? I'm in flow right now because I'm on stage, but like before I even walked up here, was I in the back of the room going, like getting in peak state like Tony Robbins? No, I went across the street, I grabbed a coffee, and then I was like, oh wait, Jack was like calling me, he's like, yo, Marcel called you up on stage and you're not here. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. What's up?
Then why do you scream?
Why do I scream? Yeah, good question. So that's more of like a release. And if anything, that's for you guys, by the way. Like the scream is for you guys. The scream is like, what I mean to say here is like, yes, that does get you you can get into a peak state, but I'm not dependent on the peak state in order for me to feel confident. You get me? So yeah, get in a peak state, do that stuff, right? But at any given moment, you can call me up on stage and I'll deliver. At any given moment, you can call me up to do something crazy and I'll deliver as well. Like I'm calm and confident in every situation. I'll tell you guys a quick story, a really quick story too, to demonstrate this. Up until about like 6 months ago, my mom lived with me for about a year. My mom moved across, I live in Florida. She moved across the state of Florida. She wanted to move back. I'm like, I'm moving right now. I'm trying to travel. Like, what do we do? Do I get her a place? So I have her come. So I just had her come live with me for about a year and a half. And I did that so that way she can watch my dog whenever I travel. So it was really convenient. And while she was living with me, it was also a really beautiful moment just connect with my mom, because I realized it's like, I was like, okay, I'm 26 right now. If I live with my mom right now, the chances are like I'll probably get married in the next 2 or 3 or 4 years or something. So I'll never, ever spend this much time with my mom ever again. So instead of like, most 26-year-olds like, I don't want to live with my mom. I was like, fuck it, I'll come take care of you, let you get back on your feet, and also have a good moment to connect. And it was awesome. And then that moment ended. I'm like, all right, got her a spot in Miami. So now she has her spot in Miami. But while she was living with me, a really, really traumatic moment, a traumatic event happened. My mom, so just to preface the story, my mom had a dream that my brother died. Right, so she's like, oh, like he got jumped and like shot or something in like a Miami alley or whatever, because my brother's a ship captain, and so some guys like jumped him and like whatever. So she had that dream. So that's any of you guys date a girl that's like, you cheated on me in my dream, fuck you, like on Zoom he was like. And then she's like blaming you and treating you like you actually cheated. Well, like my mom had that same thing with my brother, not cheating on him or on her, but like the death thing. That'd be weird. We're not from Alabama, okay? But so that happened, and then like 2 weeks later, I was sleeping, and my mom like kicks down my door, Jose, like wake up! Oh my gosh, what do I do? And she's going ballistic, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? Like I'm like half asleep, like huh? Like what's going on? She goes, your brother's in trouble. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like freaking out, right? And she goes, oh, and so she's like trying to explain it to me. She goes, okay, so he called me on the phone. It's like 3:30 right now. I think he's in trouble. He's not responding. I think he got stabbed. Oh my God. And she's like crying because she thinks my brother got stabbed. And I'm like, I think my brother got stabbed and I have no time to react. I'm like, fuck. Okay, what do I do? I live an hour away. I wouldn't be able to drive there and do anything. Okay, what if I call my dad? My dad's not gonna wake up. Okay, what if I call the cops? I don't know where he's at. He was just on the boat. So I'm like, in this moment, I'm just processing all this information. Okay, what do I do? And so what I ended up doing is like, okay, fuck, just call the cops. That's the best solution right now. Maybe I can call a friend. Okay, call the cops. So I called the cops. I'm like, all right, my brother's in trouble. And they're like, okay, where is he? I'm like, fuck, I don't know. And so the cops were like, sir, we need an address to send him to. So like, okay, just send him to his house. Maybe they just happened to be home and that's where he got stabbed. I don't know. So we're waiting like 10 minutes or whatever, the cops get there. And mind you, the entire time we just hear like people talking. Like my brother's still on the phone with my mom. No response. And my mom said that he responded and he was yelling and that there was this commotion and it sounded like he was bleeding out. Like she's like, oh my gosh, he was bleeding out in the photo. And my mom, like, you're Hispanic mom, right? Okay, so Hispanic, Cuban think about Cuban grandmother. My brother has a son, so Cuban grandmother just freaking out about like this, right? So truly, she thought her son died, and I'm here like fuck, like freaking out, but there's still people talking on the phone, and so like 10 minutes go by. It's like, what are they just like fucking socializing over like his dead body? Like it didn't make sense, They're just socializing and having a good old catch up or whatever, and there's a little bit more to the backstory as well. Is that my brother's girlfriend has like a crazy ex. And he like stalks her and all this stuff, and he's very violent and crazy, or whatever. So it's why my mom is like, my mom, Cuban grandmother again, created this whole story literally in that moment. Like he came over and he stabbed him because he has a problem, like whatever. But we don't know what's going on. All we know is the phone is the phone is still on. He was responsive. Now he's not. A bunch of commotion, whatever. So the cops finally get there, and I hear on my brother's end of the phone, I hear. So like the cops are knocking on his door, and they go. And then you hear someone get up and it's like, hey, are you Raphael? And my brother's like, yeah. And they go, hey, your brother called us. He said you might be in trouble. Like you're hurt. Are you stabbed? And they're like, no, I'm fine. And and they're like, oh, okay, you might want to talk to them. And so he comes back to the phone. He's like, huh? Well, like, hello? And I'm like, you motherfucker, bro. Like you gave mom a heart attack, dude. Holy shit. And my mom's like wailing, crying just because like, oh my gosh, she thought like her son. My mom's just like wailing. And I've never seen my mom cry that much before. And I was like giving her hugs. They're just like, it's okay. Like he's okay, And so here's what happened. In his sleep, my brother butt dials my mom, and he was watching like a superhero movie that someone was like getting beat up and died in the movie, So she heard that, and like that's the moment he called us, and so the scene, like someone died in the movie scene or whatever, and so that's what my mom was responding to. Now, I didn't have that information in that moment. I was fucking calm as fuck to the point where my mom was just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what I would have done without you. Like you're amazing. I love you so much. I can't believe you're my son. You're so amazing. I'm like, yeah, I'm the best. But no, but she was like, in that moment I was calm. Was I in a peak state? No, I was fucking sleeping. And even in that moment where shit hits the fucking fan, it's like I am calm under pressure. I am calm under pressure 100% of the time, right? I was talking about this with Drovko yesterday, where a lot of people when they need to perform, if you're an athlete, you need to perform. Some people, they do all the training, they work hard, they're in the gym, they're practicing on their craft all the time, right? But then they still step up to that moment where they have to perform, and they still get anxiety, right? Like I don't get anxiety. I don't get anxiety for that type of thing, right? I've had anxiety one time that kind of nervousness in the past year, and it was because I called the girl to tell her that I love her. Right? But beyond that, it's like, because that's obviously not common that I do. I'm unfamiliar to that type of thing. I'm not just doing that every day, But to jump up on stage and talk about this stuff, or to do something, to be calm in a situation where there's violence and danger, by the way, that is like masculine energy at its core, by the way. That's masculine energy. Masculine energy is protective and providing, and is calm under pressure, and is always has a solution, always has a way out of certain things, okay? And this is the cultivation of masculine energy. In moments like that, if I were to fold, or if I were to falter or have self-doubt in that moment, you die. You die. And even like if you have a partner, she'll become so unattracted to you, it's not even funny, right? If you can't like physically protect your partner, she ain't gonna be attracted to it. So, that's what I mean by, even if I don't feel confident, I am confident. At all moments, I'm at my very best. Does that make sense? Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
How do you get to that place of true confidence?
He says, how do you get to that place of true confidence? That, my friend, is a beautiful question. Anybody else have that same question? Hands high. Anybody else have that same question? You guys want to have that true inner confidence, that deep confidence? Yes. Say yes. Yes. Okay. They didn't put enough caffeine in here. Let me chug it one time.
Find the caffeine within.
Yeah. The cocaine. No. Okay. So, how do you find that true inner confidence? Write this down. True inner confidence looks different for everyone. True inner confidence looks different for everybody. So what looks like true confidence for you might be different for me. So the same way, if you're a musician or a rapper and you're finding your voice, or you're a coach and you're a speaker and you're finding your voice, you have to find what that true inner confidence looks like for you, because everyone's different, right? So in that, it takes a lot of deep work, okay? The deepest work you will ever do, and it's difficult. Deep work is difficult. And I'll tell you this right here. That's how you get inner confidence. You master yourself. Because when you master yourself, you master your reality. And when you have that much control over your reality, why would you not have confidence? Like, confidence is certainty. Write that down as well. Confidence equals certainty. And right under that, confidence equals calmness. It's certainty and calmness. Because if you were 100% certain in yourself all the time, what is there to fear? Right? What is an absence of fear? A lack of fear is confidence. Right? If you're, I don't know, like let's say you want to approach a pretty girl that you want to talk to, right? And you're afraid to approach that girl, it's because you lack confidence in some capacity. If you were 100% certain that girl, like you were out of her league, if you were out of her league, you'd have zero nervousness to go talk to a pretty girl, right? Well, it's because if you are nervous to do something like that, or you're nervous to do anything at all, forget about the pretty girl example. If you're nervous to do anything at all, it's because some part of you on the inside doesn't feel like you're valuable enough to receive whatever benefit that is. Okay, so true inner confidence, it's what it looks like is you've mastered yourself. You know what kind of person you are. You've developed your core 7 values. You know exactly what kind of lifestyle you want to live. You know what aligns with you. You know what traumas you've had and you've cultivated or experienced throughout your life, and you've let go of those traumas because you see how they're coloring your current picture of life, right? The only reason people don't have people are born with confidence. The only reason people don't have confidence is because they are conditioned out of it throughout their life. Conditioned. You're conditioned out of confidence. When you were a kid and you were, in the backyard, playing with bugs and exploring and doing all that stuff, right? Like you didn't have a care in the world. You just had fun. You had so much fun. Confidence is fun too. Confidence is fun. Write that down also. Calmness, certainty, and fun. So as a kid, you were just having fun all the time. But then what happens? No, don't jump on the table. No, don't pour gasoline in your eye. Right? I actually did that as a kid, by the way. But I didn't tell you guys that yesterday? I didn't tell you that the gasoline in the eye. Oh, okay. This is a funny one. Okay, so I was like 3 or something. This is you ever have like those couple memories that you remember as a kid? Yeah. Okay, so my brother's a year older than me, so he was 4, I was 3, and somehow he got into my dad's garage and he pulled out a gas canister from like the lawnmower or something, and he was playing with it in the backyard or something, and my mom was showering, whatever, like we were unsupervised, and I saw him playing with this big red canister, and I remember saying this. I remember just being like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Pour it in my eyes, right? So he pours gasoline into my eyes, and my mom runs out of the house, like, because I immediately started as like burning my eyes. Oh my gosh, my eyes! And my mom comes running out. She's like half naked because she was in the shower, and she's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And my brother's like, he has gas in his eyes, and like he told me to do it. My mom's like, "What the fuck you mean he told you to do it?" And she like rushes me upstairs. I remember this too. She's like holding me like a basket of eggs or something, like at the shower head, like in my eyes, and I'm just like, just have gas in my eyes. So, I was confident. I was confident that I wanted that in my eyes, right? So you need that kind of confidence, right? Pour the gas. But no, I mean seriously, right? Like I was very confident. I was super, super confident in the fact that I wanted them in my eyes, and my brother's like, hell yeah, dude. So you need advocators for you. Okay, so if they're not willing to pour gasoline in your eyes, cut them out now. But my point here being is that, okay, so confidence is programmed out of you, okay? So as you start to encounter life, okay, so you start going to school. So in school, you need to sit in your desk. You need to I had crazy ADD when I was a kid, so I'd be like, I would get straight A's in class, but then like F's in conduct when in elementary school when conduct counted for something. I would get like F's in conduct because it's like I would finish my work before everybody, and then I'd just get like antsy and like, fuck, I want to play, I want to go to recess, or like I would always get in trouble for like sitting like this. I would sit like that, and it's like, no, you have to sit proper. But I'm like, fuck, I just want to I get antsy in my chair. And so my teachers were always like, bitch at me and try to get me to sit down and stuff. So, I was losing confidence. I'm doing something wrong, right? And then you go into like high school. I had another thing that Anybody here have like social anxiety or like anxiety when it comes to like talking to girls or something, right? Don't be ashamed of it, raise your fucking hand. In fact, identification of that right now helps you get past it immediately. So, Alcoholics Anonymous, the first step to a cure is acknowledging that there's a problem, right? So I used to have major anxiety when I lost my virginity when I was 20 years old, okay? So way later than most of my friends. Now, one of the things that made me lose confidence massively when it came to girls or even just being intimate, I've actually never told this on stage before. I never told this publicly. I've only ever told this to like my clients. But I had a situation in 4th grade where I had a girlfriend, you know those little cute little girlfriends that kids have. So from 3rd grade to 5th grade, I had the same little girlfriend. Her name was Leanne. And what's that? Aw, yeah, so hooray for me, right? Yeah. Okay, so I had Leanne, and just for some context, Leanne now she's got like triple D, like massive tits, right? And so the context is, at 10 years old she already had some, right? And me as like a curious 10-year-old, and she was like my girlfriend, I would like grab them, right? And the thing is, I would do it like all the time, and no one ever said anything. But what happened was, this one time I did it like in the lunch line or something, and a girl from another class saw me do that and thought I was like harassing her. Like she would let me, it was like consensual, but also I'm fucking 10. So, I was like 9 or 10 years old. So a girl from another class that had a crush on me saw me do this and then reported me to the principal, right? And so I was a straight A student, and I almost got expelled from class. I almost got expelled from the school. Can you imagine, like, okay, obviously, like as a grown adult and you're doing that to like some woman on the street, and like, okay, like there's clear no consent. Like I understand consent now, but as a 9 or 10-year-old, you're just curious, you're just exploring, just whatever. And so can you imagine the trauma that I got from that? I'm sitting in the principal's office. My parents are there. They're like, you're touching her boobs. That's inappropriate. What are you doing? How can you do this? Oh my gosh, we're expelling you. We're going to expel. The only reason we're not expelling you is because you have straight A's and you're a good student. And I'm just like, what did I do? What did I do? I'm like, fucking, I'm a kid. What did I do? And then like we leave the principal's office, and my parents are like, who cares? Because my parents obviously like had enough perspicacity to be like, okay, he's just a kid. He's just kind of exploring, right? And so my parents like tried to not give me a hard time about it. But like those mixed messages are just like, but I like her, and that's what people do, and like mom and dad do it, like what, So it's like, so imagine the kind of trauma that built in me. So like I had massive social anxiety because I associated, if I liked the girl and I showed her that I liked her, that means I was going to get reprimanded for it. Right, so it took me many years to like condition out of that, and it was over time I started to I almost repressed that memory as a kid. I almost forgot that happened, and then after 20, 21 years old, I started to realize, oh shit, damn, that same feeling I had sitting in the principal's office is how I felt when I would get intimate. Right, it's just like nervousness and tension, and and then over time you just have you gain enough experience to where you relax. Right, and you can take this for any trauma, not just sexual trauma, but you can take this for literally any trauma that you have. Whether it's in any situation where you get nervous or you feel stifled, you can lean more into that stifledness by allowing it to happen and just kind of studying yourself. You get me? You kind of study yourself. But back to the original point was, I think everyone's born with confidence, but you lose that confidence over time. So I lost confidence there. Then I get into high school, I lose more confidence, and so by the time I'm 20 years old, I'm just battered and beaten down. No confidence. And there was still a part of me that knew I wanted more. I knew I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be a leader. I wanted to have all those things, but the confidence wasn't there. And when I went on this journey, right? If you guys, a couple of you guys were asking questions about finding your purpose yesterday. You want to know if that's the question that you have on your mind, this is your purpose for right now. Write that down. If you're still looking for your purpose right now is to master yourself, because it's in the pursuit of self-mastery that your purpose will uncover itself. And give yourself time and space to allow the answers and the solutions to come. So yeah, go work your 9-to-5 job. Go make go pay for the bills. Go make ends meet so that way you can survive for right now. But while you're doing that, make sure you're giving yourself time every single night, every single week to answer some of these difficult questions. What's holding me back? What trauma is still in the back of my mind that's coloring my current perception of life? Do I think I live in a supportive, collaborative universe, or one that is combative and violent and people are out to get me, people are against me? If you don't think that you live in a collaborative universe, well, guess what? That's not going to serve your life. It's not that it's wrong or right. There is no wrong or right, but it doesn't serve you. If you live in a universe where people are out to get you and they're against you, it doesn't serve you. It doesn't help you get farther ahead. It doesn't help you become a productive member of society. It doesn't help you provide value to the world. Okay, so you have to sort of reprogram that relationship you have with some of these things with so the traumas, the lack of confidence, all those things, and you will step into real confidence to the point where it's like, at any given situation, it's like the confidence is there. Make sense, guys? Yeah. Cool. You guys want that? You want true confidence, inner confidence? Yeah. Beautiful. Okay. So self-mastery. There's a couple more questions. Yeah, let me.
Just kind of going back to when you would post, were those reels or stories?
So he was asking about like when I used to post I didn't post it, by the way, but he was asking when I used to record those videos on my phone. I didn't post it, I just kept it. I have to like scroll back, way back, but
So you would just
I would just keep them. Yeah, I wouldn't post them anywhere.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. And then just one more. You also said there was a book, like $7 book.
Yeah, reality transurfing. Yeah, I'll fucking write it. Yeah. I'll give you my top, guys on Zoom, I'll give you guys my top 4 books. So reality transurfing is one of them. Conversations with God. The reason this book is crazy because it's pretty controversial. Like Christians think it's like blasphemous, like no. But the thing is, it gets you to like reevaluate the concept of like right and wrong, right? Like what is wrong, And the thing is, wrong is like a perspective kind of thing, Wrong is a perspective kind of thing. Is it wrong for I don't like some. Let's talk about a sensitive, really quickly, not to get too deep into it. But is abortion wrong? Like a very sensitive subject. Is abortion wrong? Well, it's like on one hand, it's like women's rights and women's autonomy, but on the other hand, it's like you're killing a baby, right? So it's like which one is right or wrong. So it gets you to like remove whatever emotional significance people assign to things and just look at it from like a neutral perspective. Like, by the way, this book has made me really, really good at negotiations, by the way. This book made me very good at negotiations because I can kind of see where people are at and not emotionally react to it. Because, like even I give you guys a really prime example of someone who did clearly something that's wrong. He stole money from like personal friends. He stole lots of money from personal friends. But if I were to be neutral to the situation and not have any emotional impact, I can look at him and be like, okay, there's a reason he did this. Like, why did he do this? Oh, he's in extreme scarcity. He's in such scarcity and self-sabotage and low energy and competitive, not collaborative, competitive energy. And everyone's winning around me and I'm not. And I'm not good enough, so I got to do some mischievous shit. He was in that energy, and that's why he did what he did. And then from that frame, it's like, all right, look, I can't tolerate that in my life, but I don't hate him. Like, I get why he did it, but also it's like I don't have space for those kinds of people in my life. So maybe he's remorseful. I haven't talked to him since, But the whole point is, it's like you kind of flip the script on what you think is right or wrong. Clearly, to me, that was wrong, but in his perspective, that was the right thing to do at the time, Because the reality of it is, there's no such thing as bad people. There's just people stuck in like bad energy. People they're people that are strictly programmed into horrible shit, like the shit that's going on with like Hamas and shit. These people are like ingrained with evil. Like, no, you have to kill them. They're your enemy. Like that's clearly like that. I mean, I can look again, right or wrong, right? So it doesn't lead to a very collaborative future. But the point is, it's like it allows you to revamp that relationship with good versus bad. And then what the byproduct and the end result for you guys is you'll have no guilt or shame about whatever it is that you want to do. Whatever it is that you want to do, you'll go for it unapologetically, right? And I understand this. Anybody resonate with what I'm talking about right here about being unapologetic about who you are, right? The biggest reason why I had even like I told you about the sexual trauma thing of like I couldn't approach a girl because when I expressed it, I got fucking smacked. I got smacked down pretty hard, right? So even reading that book allowed me to reevaluate that. It's like, oh, people were projecting their thoughts about like what is unacceptable, right? But to me, it's like if I like a girl, that's how we get intimate, right? So it helped me to be unapologetic about that. And when in the moments where I want to show that side of me, I'm actually there. I'm present. I'm calm. I can actually receive the experience because it is a beautiful thing to have that kind of connection, an intimate connection with someone. It's fucking beautiful. So that was taken from me because of other people's trauma or other people's. They wanted to exercise certain things on top. If they would have had like a more like neutral conversation and like not looking at me as bad and looking at me for what I was as a kid. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, that's not okay, right? There's a time and place to do that. You want to make sure you ask for consent. You want to make sure that, that when you do this, that she's okay with it and you do it in a place that doesn't like bring in other people because it makes other people okay. If someone had that kind of conversation, it'd have been straight and I would have got it, right? But in any case, conversations with God. The other one is, okay, cool. Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Excellent book. This one's extremely deep, and even Napoleon Hill is like the famous author that wrote Think and Grow Rich, and he studied under Dale Carnegie. He didn't publish this book. He didn't even publish this book himself because of like the I don't know if this was like a marketing thing. To be honest, like what I'm about to tell you kind of sounds like just like a marketing bit so they can sell more books. But allegedly, his daughter published it because he was too afraid to publish it when he was alive because of like how much like shit he would have gotten. To like as I've grown older, I still love the book, but to me, it kind of just sounds like a marketing bit. And you're smiling because you know I think it's just marketing. But you know, in any case, Outwitting the Devil talks a lot about like even what you'll see going on right now, right? It's just like there's a certain few number of people that are trying to, you know, that they put certain things in place to hold other people back. And you know, you as a person, you know, you're not a part of that club. You're not a part of that group. And so you're literally outwitting the devil. You're getting yourself into a state of freedom, right? One of my favorite words is freedom. You guys like freedom? Freedom is amazing. I love freedom. You guys love freedom? Yeah. Cool. Well, so in order for you to achieve freedom and actually have freedom in your life, it's like you have to walk away from some. And the devil, right? Sinning is not going to the gym when you know you're supposed to. It's not picking up the phone and dialing and calling that person that you want to do business with because you're afraid of what they might say. Sinning is not approaching the girl that you really, really want to talk to, but you're afraid and you're second guessing yourself, and so you don't do it. Sinning is not telling your granddad that you want to do something that you're really, really passionate about, but you don't end up telling him because you're afraid of what he might say. All these things are an example of like outwitting the devil. So it's the little voice in the back of your head that says you can't do it, that you're not meant for this, or you're not good enough, or you're not valuable enough, or you're not from a rich or well-connected family, so you can't do these kinds of things. So that's the whole point. So walk away from that voice in the back of your head, listen to it, see it there, and then do the opposite. Literally do the exact opposite. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about. And then the final book is kind of like a mainstream one, but The Power of Now. You guys understand where I'm going with this, right? Like all these books, none of these are technical books. These are not technical. This is not the 3 steps to sell effectively, or you know how to get 100 million leads or whatever. It's you know it's like just one big pyramid. But it's all energy, because it's like these things. If you master like some of the shit that is said in these books, it's like you become such a formidable human that whatever you want to do, you'll do it very, very well, and you'll be world class at it, right? So if you want to be a business owner, you'll go and you'll crush it. If you want to be a speaker, you'll go and you'll crush it. You want to be an athlete, you'll go and you'll crush it, right? Do you guys have any doubt that anything that I want to do, I'm going to be one of the best in the world at? Over a long enough time frame, yes, 100% I will be. Okay, and a lot of my friends are the same way. You think if Marcel decided, well, you know, I'm done with the hypnosis stuff, I think I'm going to go be a basketball player. You think he'd make it? I don't know if he'd make it to the NBA, but he'd probably make it pretty far, right? So when you become this formidable human, you can literally use that energy and use that precision and use that intensity to go get success in any area that you want. And that's what real freedom is, because now you're unbound. And when you're unbound, life is beautiful. Life is fun. Life is attractive and magnetic. It's like you're playing and you're life shouldn't be serious, guys. Life should not be serious. Life should be fun. It should be a dance. And there's moments where there's like ups and downs. Of course, everyone experiences ups and downs. But you should be feeling like you're winning. You should be feeling like you're getting your way. And even in the absence of control, you are in control. Let me explain that paradox real quick. And then I had a question over here. Who had the question? I'll get back to you. There's a paradox here, and it's the same paradox as even when I don't feel confident, I am confident. Even when I don't have control, I have control. Right? You've heard in hypnosis and in conversation NLP, you hear about frame control. Anybody know about frame control? You guys understand that, right? Dave, you know frame control, right? Part of exercising frame control is having a flexible frame. Because if you're too rigid with the frame, then you're not being socially calibrated. Okay, so, and even with life, if you're being too rigid with how you want things to show up or how you expect they should come to you, well, you're not being flexible with life. Because what do we know about life? It throws curveballs, yeah? Yeah. Anybody ever experienced a curveball in life? Yes. It's things that you don't expect? Yes. Downsides that were not supposed to happen? Yes. Cool. Failures that should have been wins? Yes. Cool. So we've all been there. Everyone is subject to these parameters in life. It happens to every person. So, you know, part of even having complete control of your life is also being flexible with that control. So even in the moments where I don't have control, I'm so allowing of it that I regain control instantaneously. That's true confidence. That's real inner confidence. Even when things don't go my way, I'm calm. I allow it to happen. I let things be. I give things their space to be. And thus, I regain control instantaneously. Okay, so part of even developing real control in your life, real confidence, and being a person who like is penetrative in their energy and like a good speaker, all these different things, is understanding that like, a lack of control isn't necessarily like you losing control. It's not that you're not good enough. It's not that you aren't worthy of those levels of success. It's not that you are out of control. It's that unpredictable things happen in life, and you have to be flexible with it. And when you're flexible with it, you find the resources to handle the problems. You become creative in your solutions. You become good at delegation, right? A lot of times it's not even your problem. You can just delegate it to someone else. You'll know you're at that pinnacle, that next level of success. You'll know, remember this, guys. You'll know you're at that pinnacle of that next level of success where your growth, the growth that you experience as a human, is no longer reliant upon your own growth. It'll start to be reliant upon the people that are around you, right? The people that work for you. Especially if you run any kind of business. If you're a business owner and you want to get to that next level, the people in your organization have to be top-notch, ambitious, motivated. They have to have long-term vision. They have to be committed to it. They have to master themselves, because in order to be massively successful, it's a team sport, right? So if you're going to be playing a team sport, you need the best people. Remember, championship mindset. You're not here to build a mediocre life. You're here to build a truly exceptional life. And so you need championship teammates, right? You need Shaq and Kobe on your team in order for you to get to that next level. And the beautiful thing is, everyone's going to be happy, smiling, and winning when you got that ring on your finger. Okay, so those are the kinds of people that you want to surround yourself with. And that next level, that pinnacle level of success, that turnkey is going to be the people that you're surrounded with. Go ahead, Zach.
If you have B, C, or other players around you, it's best to just kind of really have like do your own thing for a while you're good.
Yeah, 100%. So he's asking, if you don't have those A players, by the way, Drofko, can you grab my water bottle? It's right next to the computer. Thank you. He's saying if you don't have those A players and you only have C players, is it better to, yes, no, that one, yeah, the one that Tyrell has. Is it better to cut those people out now and then be alone? Yes. Yeah, 100%. It's better to have no company than shitty company. Yeah, 100%. Go ahead, Brandon.
What if most people think or feel in life that they are an A player, but they really aren't?
Okay, so for Zoom, by the way, if you have questions on Zoom, pop them into the chat and I'll check in with you guys every few moments. But Brandon asked, what if you have people that like seem like A players, but they're actually not, or they think that they're A players, but they're actually not?
I have another question. Yeah, so with a lot, I guess 30% of the world is thinkers, right?
Uh-huh.
And 70% are pretty much heart. So how do you get, or what would you do with a thinker that's just so in their head that they can't get down?
Okay, so yeah, separate question. So he goes, most people live in their heart and less people are thinkers. I think it's actually the opposite. I mean, this is obviously perspective-wise, depends on like where you're at in the world. I think it's the opposite. I think most people live in their head and not in their heart.
Yeah.
So that's just my experience of the world. I could be wrong, but I think it holds to be true. But your initial question was, what if there's people on your team that think that they are A players, but they're actually not? Well, it depends on how they manage. Like, here's the thing: if someone's not an actual A player, it'll be readily available. It'll be pretty quick. You'll find out very, very quickly that they're not actually who they are, right? And the way you'll see this manifest is, do they take responsibility, right? Of all the number one things of people that are in my circle, they have to be responsible. Because if they're going to blame other people, it didn't happen because of this person, or it was that person's fault. Oh no, that wasn't me, that was them. No. Whenever, because I'm this way, by the way. It's like, if there's a mistake that happens on different projects that I'm working on or business that I'm working on, I'm the first person to be like, yo, fuck, my bad. Like, oh, I could have done better, right? And this comes from like, I'm a very self-critical person. So at every single moment, I'm analyzing myself. Okay, how can I get better? How can I do better, right? So maybe on the front end, being a self-critical person is exactly why I had major depression and anxiety, because I'm just like, man, I'm beating myself up. Like, I suck. Like, I hate myself, But over a longer time horizon, and then when I had deep levels of confidence, I'm just always in a state of growth. So, and that state of growth on a longer time horizon leads to massive success. And it leads to an ability and an intellect to think in ways that the average person can't even consider. So if they're not A players, you just gotta get rid of them. If they're not, look, not every single person needs to be an A player, but they at the very least, need to have long-term dedication. Like, for example, I do a lot of I do different affiliate things with some of my friends, and I'll set up little liaising deals where like I'm the middleman. I also, something I do for some of my other business ventures is I'll build out sales teams for people, like whether they run a coaching company, marketing company, anything, right? And I'll find them A players, I'll train up those people, and they fucking go and crush it, right? Arjun was one of my clients that, he went from making like 6 or 7K per month and all the way to 30K per month, literally doing high ticket sales for other people. And so one of the things that I do with that turns people into AA players is, what's very hard to find in people is actual long-term commitment and people that aren't greedy, right? Someone who sees the long-term vision of what you're working on and is able to commit to that long-term vision. Because the thing is, you can train a C player to be an A player. You can train a C player to be an A player. And I actually prefer that. I prefer, like, if you gave me someone who had, like, 10 out of 10 closer, they're a shark, they close everything, right? But they're also like pretty sketchy, like low integrity. Or you have someone who's like really, really committed to the vision and aligns with it and is like, they truly love you and they're advocates for you, but maybe they're like a 7 out of 10 or like a 6 out of 10 in sales skills. I'll take that person. Because you can train the 6 out of 10 to be a 10 out of 10. You get me? So it also depends. Like if I hear the question, like someone that thinks they're an A player but actually isn't, to me it also signals someone who's like very ego driven. They're very ego driven and connected to their ego and narcissistic potentially, and thinks that they're actually better than everybody when they're actually not. It's like, look, there should be 2 definitions of entitlement. There should be a positive definition of entitlement and a negative definition of entitlement. And a negative definition is someone who is entitled but actually doesn't have world-class results, right? Like, can you imagine like a 16-year-old kid that's like, I deserve the world, right? I'm the best, but they haven't worked for anything. It's like it's very delusional. It's incongruent. No, they have value. They have their own value, and they're a person, right? So there's value in that, but it doesn't mean you deserve $1 million. No, you're delusional if you think that, right? And then there's a positive entitlement is someone who's like, they've worked their ass off, they've trained their body, they've crushed it in business, they've traveled the world, they've truly lived an exceptional life. And if they think that they have an edge over people, or if they think in some capacity that they're better than others, I mean, that's kind of justified, They've actually done significantly more than the average person. So now that doesn't mean that they just go around shitting everybody, right? It's like, you treat the CEO the same way you treat the janitor kind of thing. But, at the same time, it's like, look, people that have earned their success and have earned respect deserve it. So if, you can tell if it's someone who's actually done A player things, right? If they've done A player things and they're congruent to that, okay. But if they haven't done A player things and they also have an ego, but they're also not coachable, like all these, yeah, fuck them, that's not a good person to have on your team. Great question though. What's your question? So his question was, what's the process to discover what's holding yourself back? Anybody else resonate with that? Yeah, you guys resonate? You want to know what's holding yourself back? I think of anything, like that's what you guys really want to know. That's an excellent question. Probably like the question of the weekend, right? What's holding me back? Why am I not getting those top-notch results? Why am I not making the money that, because earlier I asked, who's making the money that they want? It was like one of you guys, right? Moshe, right? One of you guys actually said it, right? And even then, he's probably like, he's just being humble, He's really, really humble, so he's kind of like, I could do more. What's holding you back? That's your life's question. That's your life's question. Because there is a version of you, let's get into quantum physics, right? There's infinite realities. And that we live in an infinitely expanding universe with trillions and innumerable numbers of galaxies. So that means that there's an innumerable amount of planets that have the exact same structure and genetic makeup as like the world that we're in right now. And there's like a twin version of you that literally, it looks exactly, he sounds like you, same name, same everything, right? Exact same reality, except that guy's doing more with his life. How old are you? What's your age? 28. Woohoo! Okay, 28, right? So, this is a different, if you're 18 or something, it's like, okay, you got time to kind of like do some stuff. But 28, it's like, dude, like there's some pressure. You're approaching 30, and there's like a societal pressure in a sense. Like you got, by the time you're 30, you need to be a man. You need to have money. You need to know how to, have sex with girls. You need to know how to be a protector, provider, how to like do business. You need to crush your body. You need to have all these things, all your ducks in a row, because if not, you're a bum or you're a loser, that kind of thing. So, there is that real pressure, right? And I think every man at some point does realize that pressure is happening to them. And then also there needs to be another part of you that is like absolved of that pressure, so that way you give yourself the space to flourish and become your own, right? Because the reality is, okay, maybe this is like society's makeup for what success looks like. But the thing is, bro, humans have variability, bro. Humans have their own unique path. You have your own unique path that is meant for you, and when you unlock that path, not only will you have all the societal success that you need to have, if not, you're not a valuable guy, but you'll get those things much easier, and you'll also still be yourself. You'll still be truly yourself, because what a lot of people will do is they'll sacrifice themselves. You know when they say sacrifice your soul for like money or whatever? You ever heard that? Like, you know, they sacrifice their soul for success and for money. It's part, the whole soul thing is they're giving up who they actually are on the inside to get something that other people deem valuable. Getting a Lamborghini isn't valuable. Getting a mansion isn't valuable. It's hard because it costs a lot of money, but it's not valuable. Because what happens when you get the Lamborghini, it's cool to drive for a week, and then afterwards you're like, all right, whatever. Like, it's like whatever, you know? Like, if you had to sacrifice your family, your wife and kids to go get that Lambo, that wasn't a valuable sacrifice, you know? And so I'll come back to you. But so the whole point I'm saying here is, you know, don't confuse things that are valuable with things that are difficult. Because a Lambo is difficult, you know, a house is difficult, big business difficult, you know, good physique difficult. All these things are difficult. But what's truly valuable is this: self-mastery, being your most authentic self. Okay, so. And the thing about even money and success and some of these things, like I view money as a vehicle to have more freedom. I view it as a means to have more freedom. I don't view it as like the end outcome. What the fuck is more dollars going to do? That's why I spend it. That's why, like, I fucking hate saving. I don't save. And the rationale behind that is I'm not in scarcity. So I'm not worried about tomorrow. I mean, I have liquid cash. I'm not just spending to zero, like, fuck it. No, but like I have liquid cash, but also I don't believe in saving. Like, do you think people our age are going to save into retirement and be millionaires? No. Your 401k is going to get obliterated. The stock market is going to get obliterated. Social Security, it ain't going to be there for us when we're old. Okay, so, you know, the old Dave Ramsey way of creating wealth for yourself is fucking outdated, you know? You'll hear like these boomers, they'll talk about like, oh yeah, like I'm 56 and I own my house now. And it's like, bro, like you bought your house for like $12,000 in like 1970, bro. Like that's fucking, you know? And they're like, yeah, like my house is worth $700,000, so I've made $680,000 on that house. No, you didn't. Like inflation kept up with the value of the house. So you have, the house is worth more, but your dollar has been devalued to the point where that gain is actually negligible, right? So the house was valuable, but now it's not, you know? So in the same way, it's like, these are all things that the success and the accomplishment, the accolades are all things that people deem valuable, or, you know, but the thing is, it's not that they're valuable, they're hard to get. What's actually valuable is connection with yourself. What's actually valuable is deep and meaningful connections with people that truly love you and advocate for you. What's actually valuable is the memories and the experiences and the peak experiences that you have that are unforgettable forever, where you feel euphoric. When's the last time, look, without doing drugs, when's the last time you felt euphoric? Do you guys remember? Anybody remember?
Yeah.
What? Tell me, when's the time you felt the most euphoric in recent times?
It was last week. I was on the racetrack with my motorcycle doing 150 miles an hour through turns, and after 3 sessions of that, through the end of the day, my mind was clear, my body was pumped, adrenaline had washed away all of my shit, and I felt like $1 million fucking dollars.
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. Give it up for him, guys. Yeah. Woo. I love that. I want to celebrate you in that because that's awesome, bro. Like on Zoom, so he was saying he was riding his motorcycle on the track going 150 miles an hour, and he did 3 different sessions of it, and, you know, and it was exhilarating, right? That's awesome. That's awesome, right? Like that should be like how your life is lived all the time. Now, obviously, you know, you're not like an adrenaline junkie who's just like chasing a high or whatever, right? But you should have that level of enjoyment. And the thing is, it's like when you first tap into this, is very common. Whenever I coach people in Freedom Mastery, the very first month, it's like they have that euphoria. It's like, oh my gosh, the possibilities, life is awesome. I can do anything. Is Kevin in here? Kevin might be out. Kevin, come in here. Kevin, he was a client of mine last year. And then the first month of him coaching with me, is Kevin out there? Okay. Yeah, probably. Okay, so, but Kevin, the first month he worked with me, he went on this like crazy vision quest, and he drove all over Texas and was like, you know, sleeping in his car, looking at this. It was just like life was there, you know, and he was sleeping in his car, and it was fucking fun. He had the most fun ever. And he gave himself that moment because he's like, okay, like clearly what I'm doing right now, like the job that I have, I don't like it. And I just want to adventure more. I want to have like more fun. And he just went and did that. So he experienced nature. He saw shooting stars, took crazy pictures, met some crazy people along the way. And it was one of the most amazing moments of his life. right? And then what happens in the aftermath, I'll come back to you, Zach, okay? What happens in the aftermath, like a lot of times I'll have clients that have that initial euphoria that's followed by like this downside of like, oh, fuck, and, you know, you're nodding your head, you know what I'm talking about. So it's like initial euphoria and then boom, crash, right? Now, the thing is, this will be important for you guys. Zach, write that question down so I don't forget. So you don't forget. Cool. Anybody understand frequency and sound waves, light waves, right? So matter and energy don't take form until they're observed. Okay, so things only exist as particles and waves until they become observed. There's an observer effect. Crazy, crazy stuff. Some quantum physics. Now, what this is right here. Oh, by the way, did you have a question? Okay, you had your hand up earlier, but okay, great. Okay, got it. So life is peaks and troughs. No one is ever in a peak state 100% of the time. This is exactly why relying on a peak state to be confident in yourself is a horrible strategy. Because the reality is humans are emotional creatures. We have ups and downs. Now you want to do your best to be in a peak state as long as you possibly can and as much as you possibly can. But the reality is there's going to be troughs. And so something I always preface my clients is, look, you're going to have some fucking crazy peak states, man. Life is going to get good. It's going to get fun. But also recognize that you're just a human and you're going to have troughs. You're going to have downsides, right? There's going to be days you wake up motivated, pumped up, excited to go do work and crush it. And then there's going to be other days where you feel like shit and you don't want to do anything. But the thing is, you still got to get up and perform. You still have to get up and call the phones, talk to your teams, move forward in life, get up and go to the gym. That's how you build lasting success, right? I have a good physique, and I was showing I think I was showing Jack and Marcel a picture of me at 18. I've been shredded since I was 18, since I was 16. And I've been consistent for 14 years? And the reason I've been able to be consistent for 14 years is because I understood this. Like, even when I'm in a trough, I get up and go. So you guys, you're in the pursuit of excellence. You have to have the same thing. Now, what self-mastery does, I'm going to use different colors. What self-mastery does is, okay, and here's your baseline. This is where like your predominant, you guys can see this over here? Okay, so your baseline is where you're predominantly at. Okay, so everyone has their own baseline and it varies, right? If you're in a depressed state, like I used to have major depression and anxiety, my baseline was way down here, right? Because I was looking at myself as like a loser. I hated myself. I wasn't confident in who I was, right? But as I became more connected with myself and I reestablished that connection with who I was, guess what happened? Baseline increases. Okay? So when you master, is that coffee? Yep. Thank you, sir. So when you master yourself, your baseline increases. And that's what I strive to. This is like literally my life's work. Okay, guys? Like, and this is even in my digital program that's coming out. It's coming out soon. I'm actually, I'll have something for you guys later on. But in my digital program, this is exactly what I'm striving to do. This is what I want people to do, because this is the alleviation of suffering. This is the alleviation of pain. This is how you actually become so self-reliant. You don't need to do coaching. I think even the coaching space, that sometimes it's kind of like a pyramid scheme, right? It's like, oh, do this program, and then you get in that one. It's like, oh, well, there's another one. It's like, okay, do that, and then there's another one. It's like, yeah, what fucking point do I just get results? You know? So I saw that, and I'm very honest with people, and I'm very transparent, right? Like I'm very cut to the bone. Let's get straight into this. I don't want to sit around and just talk about our problems all day. I don't want to just sit around for 6 months on end and just be like, oh, like, I think I feel better. No. I actually want you not only to feel better, but to actually get better results. And the cool thing is, when you're consistently feeling better because you raised your baseline, you become more compelling, right? You become a better action taker, a better executor, more creative and imaginative with the results that you get in your life. So, getting to, so the way to raise your baseline is not fighting the trough. It's being there with it. It's giving it the space to be. Resistance is persistence. Write that down. Resistance is persistence. The more you try to avoid the trough, the longer you stay in it. So what I tell my clients is, fuck it. Be in the trough, Because when you're in that trough, it's like the enemy, there's a famous quote here. It's the devil you know is better than the devil you don't. So by being familiar with what the trough feels like, it no longer has that emotional impact. It's not weighing you down, right? So it's like, when people really, really try hard to stay in a peak state, it's like, no, I have to feel good. I have to feel confident, right? And it's like they're holding a rope, and the rope has a bowling ball at the bottom, and they're on the edge of a cliff, and it's like scraping, it's like burning their hand. It's like, but the reality is, you just let go. Like, why the fuck are you holding on to it? Just let it go. Like, get off the ledge. What are you doing? What are you doing? Save your life, right? So you let go of that thing, you let it go, you gain perspective, you realize, oh shit, I'm on the edge of a cliff. Fuck, I need to get out of here, right? So it's kind of the same thing, right? When you resisting, when you resist, this is persisting, you don't have proper perspective on your life. It becomes difficult to take action. You guys know what I'm talking about? You guys resonate with this? And you guys see how you might be in a trough or something like that, and you want to raise your baseline? And you guys see the benefit of raising your baseline? Say yes? Yes. So if you raised your baseline, do you think you'd be more intelligent? Yes. If you raised your baseline, do you think you'd make more money? Yes. If you raised your baseline, do you think you'd be more confident? Yes. You guys, this guy's, yes. This guy, guys, fucking, like, let's be serious, right? We're talking about your life here. Say yes. Yes. Say yes. Yes. There you go. Yeah, bring it. Because this is raising your baseline right now, by the way. This is like the yelling, the uncovering of new ideas and new insights that will help you get to that next level. This is all that's going on. And this is real transformation, because real transformation is where you don't necessarily need those old things anymore. You don't need those old tricks in order to get to that peak state, in order to get to that next level. Okay? So, and this is exactly what I do with my clients all the time. Like, I actually transform their lives. I actually get them results, right? Tyrell, we had a question back there. I don't try to stay in the peak state as much as possible. Especially at this point in my life and at this point of my growth and development, and you guys will get to this point as well. Like, you're here, you're in the room. Remember, I said this yesterday also, asking is a vortex for receiving. Asking is a vortex for receiving solutions. So this question of like, okay, how do I stay in a peak state all the time is the way I stay in a peak state, I'm like 95% in a peak state, right? I'm 95% positive, 95% happy. And then, 5% of the time I might feel a little bit sad, right? Like, or I might have some anxiety that comes up or whatever, right? But in that 5%, I give it's the space to be, right? To me, there's no emotional reaction, right? To me, there's no emotional significance to feeling sad anymore. Where in the past, if I felt depressed or sad about myself, I'd be like, oh shit, I'm a loser. But now I'll feel that. And to me, it's more of an emotional guidance that I'm incongruent with something, or something is out of alignment. Something is out of alignment in my life. So I'll go back, I'll look at my relationships, I'll look at the way my business is operating, I'll look at some of the more important relationships or the energy that I'm in, right? And then for me, negative emotions it's literally guidance. It's not something that I have to run away from. In fact, I embrace it. I want to feel those things because it gives me supreme emotional, heart-centered guidance about how to operate and go forward, because I'm aligned with my heart. When you align with your heart, that's freedom. You align your heart, you align your mind, and you have massive confidence. That's what real freedom is, okay? So the whole idea of like, how do I stay in a peak state as long as possible? That's like the wrong question. The question should be, how do I raise my baseline to where I don't feel the emotional impact of troughs, right? Because remember, you don't rise to the occasion of your goals, you fall to your intentions and your habits. So who you intend to be is going to dictate your outcomes, not your goal. I can set a goal. I want to make $1 million in the next 10 seconds. Does anybody have $1 million? Fuck, I failed. Damn it. Oh, I'm a loser. Oh, man. Look, no, like, goals don't mean anything. Goals literally don't mean anything. I set intentions, right? So my intention is I want to be the most confident version of myself. I want to provide immense value to the world that people pay me a lot of money for that. I want to be so fun that people are sucked into that. People are magnetized to that. I want to be so connected with myself. So the intention is actually what creates a high quality life, not the goal. So, the correct answer should be like, the correct question, or there is no right or wrong, right? Like, there is no right or wrong here. But a better question would be, how do I raise my baseline? And the way you raise your baseline, it depends on your own unique situation, right? So, what trauma do you have? What's holding you back? What are you trying to accomplish with your life? What's your age? What's your life experience? What are you good at? So it's a very multifaceted question that, I can give you some like general, like in the short time that we have together here, I can give you some like pointers in the right direction, but in order to give you like a true and nuanced, this is exactly why I like one-on-one stuff. I love one-on-one coaching because it actually gives you a nuanced answer to a nuanced problem, right? Like a lot of the problems you guys are experiencing, it's like, the little one line, there's that corny line that people use on like their fitness Insta posts. It's like, be yourself because everyone's already taken, that's not going to change your fucking life. The same way a 20-minute meditation is not going to change your fucking life. A guided release isn't going to change your life. It's a deep, nuanced answer that requires expertise. It requires patience. It requires time. It requires you to uncover the questions for yourself, to find the answers within yourself. I don't like spoon feeding shit either, right? What I'll do with my clients, right? And Dravko, you remember this, right? Like what I'll do with my clients is I'll throw up a bunch of different ideas that seem as like, I'll throw up a bunch of ideas and I'll let my clients self-select. You guys are fucking smart. You guys are powerful. You guys know what's best for yourselves. I treat you like adults. I treat you like the best version of it because I acknowledge that there's power in you. And you're a unique individual. You're a unique being that is meant for more. And so you have the answers within you. And so what I do with my clients and what raising your baseline is all about is you being able to coach yourself. You being able to give yourself that powerful guidance because it's in you. You already know what to do, right? Is going to the gym going to give you bigger muscles or is eating potato chips on the couch? Going to the gym. Great. Is doing more sales calls or taking 3-hour naps in between your sales calls going to get you more sales? More sales calls. Great. Is spending more time writing out your intentions for your life going to align you with that vision more, or is more Netflix and binge watching TV shows going to do that? Yeah, spending more time, right? Spending more time on the actual practice of figuring out what you want in your life. Is meeting more people going to give you a bigger network, or is being an isolated introvert playing video games going to help you meet more people? Meet more people in person, right? Shaking more hands, okay? So everyone knows what they need to do, but it's whatever's stopping you, whatever's getting you into a trough state, that's what's stopping you from seeing things clearly, right? Remember, your mind loves specificity and clarity. Raising your baseline gives you so much clarity, it's like obvious what to do. It's obvious. It's impossible to lose from here. And you can go into any industry, you can go into any field of work, you can go into any business and fucking crush it. Go ahead. What's your question, Sean?
I was just going to ask, so and this might be more of the one-on-one thing I'm talking about.
Yeah, good question. So Sean is asking, when you're in the trough, obviously, you have to question that and you're challenging what that, like why you're in that state. So you're not running from it, but you're sitting in it and saying, okay, like what's going on here? And so the quality of the questions that you ask are going to dictate what the outcome is. And that's 100% true. Look, because if you let's say if you're not making sales, and you're like, why am I not making sales? Why doesn't anybody listen to me? Gosh, I must suck, right? Or you can have a more neutral perspective to it and be like, okay, I'm not making sales. Let's call a spade a spade. I'm not advocating for you guys to lie to yourself. Let's call a spade a spade. Okay, I'm not making sales right now. I'm not making money, and I need money. I need money right now. Okay, what's the problem? Well, now you can troubleshoot things like an entrepreneur. There's no emotional impact. You can troubleshoot things like a genuine person that has the answer because you have the answer. And it's like, okay, so how do I figure out the solution to this problem? Okay, so I'm not making sales. It's not because I suck. It's not because I'm a loser. None of those things are true, right? I'm on my way to the next level of success. And so just even me deciding on this path, I'm a fucking winner, right? That's the thing too. That's another thing too. A very big thing I advocate to my clients is like, I don't care how much money you have in your bank account. I don't care if you have $1 million. I don't care if you have negative $1 million. You're all successful. The moment you decide that the path of mediocrity is not for you, you are already successful. The moment that you decide you're not going to just do the status quo and do what everyone else does, that's the moment that you are successful. Okay? And so whatever happens in the short term, who gives a fuck? Right? Sean, if you knew with absolute certainty and complete confidence that a year from now, 2 years from now, whatever, you're going to have more money than you know what to do with, would you be concerned about what happens in the short term? No, of course not. Same thing for everyone here, right? You wouldn't be concerned with what's happening in the short term, and so there's no emotional impact, right? My emotions do not dictate my short-term outcomes. They dictate my life. And you laugh because it's so silly. You laugh because it's so fucking obvious, It's a laugh of familiarity, and you guys all have a version of this where it's just so obvious. But the thing is, we kind of get stuck in our heads. We get stuck in our heads about it. And the reality is, in order for you to transcend those, it's you kind of treat it like this. You treat it like silly. It's like, okay, like I see. And this is, by the way, this is where like forgiveness comes in too, where it's like, okay, you realize it's obvious. Now because you realize it's obvious, don't beat yourself up over that. Fuck, I'm so stupid. It was there the whole time. There's like another layer to like this shame and guilt that we can build up. I got you in a second, but there's another layer to that guilt and shame, right? But you come from a place of forgiveness. Write this down, guys. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for all the mistakes. Forgive yourself for not being at your best. Forgive yourself for allowing the troughs to control you. Forgive yourselves for failing at certain tasks, for sleeping in a little too much, for doing all those things. Now, I'm not saying keep sleeping in because you're absolved. No, but you're eliminating the emotional baggage that's associated with that, and you're giving yourself the best possibility to either wake up on time or eat a better diet or go crush a gym or go function at a high level in business. Go work on high leverage activities in your business, right? So it starts with even forgiveness, right? So what you'll realize is even like raising your baseline has to do, like the being okay with the trough is seeing why the trough shows up for you, being okay with it, almost letting go of that, like let go of your expectations, let go of what you think you need to do, right? And then what you'll find is that new connection you have with yourself raises your ability to be a more energetically, vibrationally high person, right? 'Cause remember, energy is wealth. So your level of energy is going to dictate the circumstances that you experience. So this is like literally, this is energy vibrational raising 101 in like the most business way possible. I'm a very spiritual person, but I'm also highly rooted in business. Both of my university degrees are in business, so marketing and entrepreneurship. So I've paid more than six figures, $200,000 or more in coaches, masterminds, education, travel expenses to go see my mentors, and I've had some of the best business coaches in the world. So I'm extremely rooted in business, but I'm also like a fairy dancing in the wind in like the spiritual realm as well. I'm going to be going to Utah in 2 weeks because one of my good friends, they're a couple, and he used to do energetic work on he used to do it, and his wife. She's newer to this, but they do this energetic healing practice. And he used to do energetic work on Tony Robbins at his seminars backstage. So when Tony Robbins talks about, I just have infinite energy all day, I can do this for fucking 14 hours. It's like, bro, you have the best energetic healer in the back of the room fucking healing you so you can go back out and crush it, which is, in and of itself a pretty awesome thing. But, I'm going to their immersion. And I send them so many clients, they just invite me for free now. It's like $8,000 to go for just like 3 days. And but I send them so many clients, they just invite me for free. They love me. And so I do stuff like that. No plant medicine. I've never done plant medicine. I've tried. Well, I guess I tried some Brazilian stuff called Mama Fuca, but I haven't done ayahuasca. I haven't done shrooms really. And I tried it. I tried it by accident. It wasn't fucking fun. I'll tell you that. It created massive anxiety for me. It was this was like 2 or 3 years ago. I went to go visit I live in Miami. My girlfriend lived in Riverside at the time. My girlfriend, that ex-girlfriend, and they got her like shroom chocolate bars for her birthday or something. I'm like, ooh, chocolate, and I ate it, and they're like, and I'm like, why? What's going on? And they're like, and then like an hour later, there were shrooms in that. I'm like, fuck, and I was freaking out, But so no plant medicine, but also too, there's a specific reason for that. Like I've known a ton of people that do plant medicine, and I just can't tell if they're actually better off from it or not. There's a few people, you know what I'm talking about, Brandon, right? Like it's like I don't know, like more ayahuasca, you need more, like I don't know. I feel like some of them it even just does damage because it kind of keeps them in a spiritual realm and they're super ungrounded. Which is like, look, if you're a spiritual being, you acknowledge the fact that you live in the third dimension. If you live in the third dimension, you have to be in the third. You have to be grounded here. Like we have to go make money. We have to go hustle and sacrifice and grind. So there is that truth, right? The truth is dichotomous. There's many different truths. The truth. What's that?
And they don't make any action.
Correct. Yeah. It's very ungrounding. Which actually okay, cool. Like all right, great. Like you're one with God, and that's awesome. But also like you're one with $0 in your bank, and then like. So yeah. So you can see it's like there's light and then there's dark. I play in both. Okay. There was you had a question, go ahead.
Yeah. So do you ever find?
Okay. So he's at.
And then you have a bigger fall to a trough.
Yeah, gotcha. So he's saying, is there ever any fear about reaching like a higher level baseline and then the subsequent drop that might happen from that? No, because like if you're afraid of a drop, you actually didn't raise your baseline. So there's like fear. All right, look, guys. High level energy is absence of fear. Zero fear. Now, that doesn't mean you take unnecessary risks. That doesn't mean I want to quit my job and start my business. You just quit overnight and then, no. Like be strategic with your time and attention and how you approach things, but also do them with zero fear. Okay? Be completely fearless and unapologetic about what it is you want with your life. So, if you're afraid of your baseline falling, then you haven't actually raised your baseline. And, this also requires, here, let me write this down. Of all the things I want you guys to walk away with, at least, if I can help you guys achieve 10% more of this, then I think my job is done. Yeah. Yeah, on Zoom, he was saying that that's answered his question very well because it's like, well, it kind of reduces the pressure of who you need to be. Kind of the same thing, 28, I'm turning 30, fuck, I need success. Well, like when you like acknowledge that, it's like, okay, yes, I need more success, but also like, absolve yourself of that responsibility, you lower the pressure. When you lower the pressure, it gives you more energetic bandwidth to think higher thoughts. When you think higher thoughts, you attract better outcomes. you know? And then all that also does is like it creates self-trust. If I can help you guys raise your baseline and self-trust by 10%, I think I did my job. The thing is, this is very like, the reason that this work is so scary and just like this deep work and just this game of life is scary is because there's just so much uncertainty, right? So, but if you can trust yourself, if you can figure out a way, even in the most uncertain of situations that you can find trust for yourself, you will win. You will get better results. You will find the right person. Remember, I'm going to say this again. You're one interaction away from changing your life forever. You're one client away from changing your life forever. You're one moment away from changing the trajectory of your life forever. And so when you know that, and you know that in your bones, right, like you just have self-trust because you know tomorrow it can all change. So whatever, if your back, right now guys, if your back is against the wall, if you're not getting what you want out of your life, if your girlfriend's complaining at you, if your wife is divorcing you, if your business is collapsing and going to shit, just know that in an instant, all of that stuff can change. If you have the right approach, if you have self-trust, if you trust yourself in the moments where you need to show up and perform, that you can do it, right? Even when I'm not confident, I am confident. Even when I don't have control, I'm in control, right? It's about being calm, being neutral to things. And then you perform. Right? I was showing Drovko a wrestling match. I was getting blown out. I was a senior and I had the mohawk. I used to have long curly hair, but then I shaved my head. I just had this mohawk. And I was wrestling a state runner-up, and the guy was kicking my ass. It was like 10-3 in the first period or something. And it's like you can hear my coach in the back to be like, "What the fuck, man? Come on, Jose, what are you doing? What are you doing?" And but you know, even in the most pressurized situations, I remain calm. So I'm still in the match, you know, like I'm fighting, you know. Okay, finally, okay, I got a reversal, so I got some points. Then he put me on my back. Shit, he gets more points. Okay, we stand up at the third period. I have to pin him or I lose. Like I have to score like 8 points. Or pin him, if not, I lose the match. And I'm just, the guy's backing up, the guy's being defensive, he's backing up, and I'm just attacking, I'm like, no, I'm not fucking losing. That's the mentality. That's championship mentality. I'm not fucking losing because I trust myself. And so I'm just trying shit. I take a shot, we end up out of bounds, no points. We come back to the middle, I sprint back to the middle of the mat, and he's like walking like out of energy, he's like, fuck, and I'm sprinting back to the mat. And I'm let's go. And I shoot on him, double leg takedown. I'm on the outside of the line. I keep my feet in bounds. Boom, points. We come back inside. Let's stand up. I shoot again. We're out of bounds. Come back in the middle. I shoot again, and this is and then I got strategic with it. But because I was calm, I was able to use strategy. Anybody in here wrestle? Okay, cool. So that's why I resonate with you guys. I love wrestlers. I think wrestlers, like, because you do such difficult shit, you just have a lot of compatibility. But I'm still down like 5 points. There's like 30 seconds left on the clock. And I almost we're standing up. We go out of bounds. The ref is telling us to come back in the middle. I sprint back to the middle, and you're supposed to put your foot on the line. Both wrestlers put their foot on the line. He blows the whistle. You guys go. Because I got to the line first, I looked back and I realized he's dead. He's gassed, and I'm like, and I still got energy. So I took a step back, and I pretended like I was out of energy, and I was like. And I put my foot on the line, and as soon as I put my foot on the line, I timed it perfectly to where the ref blew the whistle, and I was shooting at the same time, so it wasn't like a false start. So I caught him off guard, and I take him down, and he rolls on his back, and I ended up sitting on his chest like that, and I pinned him. So I won the match, and I won the match against the state runner-up, and it was like one of my favorite victories because it was just like I kept my head in the match. I was getting blown out, and for us, not a single moment was I lost. I trusted myself. Even in the most contentious of situations, I trust myself, but that's why I get such good results, right? That's the kind of man a woman wants as her husband. That's the kind of entrepreneur you want as a business partner. That's the kind of friend you want on your team. So, I want you guys to be more like that and to do it in your own way. There's a big question back there. Oh, wait, let me get Zach first and I'll come back to you, okay?
Zach?
Okay, so Zach did Navy SEAL training. And you qualified?
Yeah, you just got
So Navy SEAL. He got a lot of confidence, clearly been through some difficult things, but he's having trouble translating that into business success. So, how do you navigate that, I guess is the question. So I've seen that a lot in people. I've seen that a lot in people where they have done difficult things, but they're not able to translate that to business success or, success in other areas. You already have a good foundation, which is epic. So if you have a good foundation, you are much farther along than like the average person, right? Like you're probably going to have an easier time in business than, let's say, the guy who's like played video games and ate potato chips and is like, well, I think I can inspire some people. It's very incongruent. So at least you've done some difficult things. I would even reckon that I don't know you too well, and we've had a few good conversations, but I think what you're doing, bro, is you're watering down the value that you have to offer. You're afraid of what people might say about you. You're afraid of being judged, or you're afraid of like well, that person's got a cooler story than me, and so maybe I need to like suppress myself a little bit because like there's no way I can, I don't have as cool of a story. Bro, like everyone's got a worse story than you. Like everyone's got worse stories. Like, you've got some pretty crazy stuff that you did. But the thing is, if you're always in this comparison mindset, well, you're always going to get worse results, right? Like I haven't like, I've had crazy shit happen to me too, but I haven't like, I know people that their parents died. Imagine being like 12 years old and like your mom dies. Oh my gosh. Or imagine being, I heard this story about there was like a fire. Imagine being in like Maui or something, right? And like your house burned down and you're the kid that survived because you just happen to be playing outside and your parents died. Like, dude, there's horrific shit that happens to people, But the thing is, you are unique in your own way. There's a certain type of demographic or people out there that would love your fucking message, but they would hate mine. That they would love to work with you and pay you tons and tons of money, but they wouldn't even pay me $1. They hate me, And they could very well be in the same room, right? So it's when you eliminate like this comparison anxiety that happens of like, oh, well, they're up there, I'm down here, I'm not worth it. Bro, like that's, of all the things that like the reason I made it in this business is literally that. Like, and I had tons of it. I know exactly what you're talking about and I can speak to it. Anybody else resonate with what he's saying? Like this comparison anxiety? It's like hands went way up, woo! Hands went up faster than your motorcycle, bro. Like, because it's real. It's really real. And look, people share that same experience. And I write this down, guys. The bar for success is significantly lower than you actually think. The bar for success is way lower than you actually think. People really overestimate what it takes to be successful.
Can you repeat that, please?
The bar for success is very low. People think you need to be from a rich family. All these things make it easier, by the way. So you need to be tall. You need to be good looking. You need to come from a rich and well-connected family. You need to have some crazy unfair advantages to get ahead in life. And of course, those things help. If you're taller and you're better looking and if you come from wealth, oh yeah, of course, those things help, right? But you can't control that. You can't control the hands that you're dealt with. And I want you to know that there's people with significantly less talent, with easier lives and not as hard stories that are making way more money than you.
Pisses me off.
Yeah. Don't let it piss you off. Congratulate them. Hey, you're doing great. Even my friend that stole all that money and shit, I still find ways in my heart to be like, I really hope he's okay. I hope he's okay. I hope he's getting what he wants out of life. I wish him the best. Like even the guy that called me saying, hey, your buddy applied. Like, do you think I should hire him? I still didn't shit talk him. I was like, hey, he's an excellent closer. I don't know if he's got the highest integrity, but he might make you a lot of money. Even then, even someone that really like broke my heart in a way, it's like, when I have close relationships, even with men, it's just like, for me, it's like a strong bond. And when you break that bond, it feels like heartbreak. It's like, oof, like, I love you, bro, but now you're an asshole and I can't deal with you, So it really hurt. It really hurt to cut that relationship, but I needed to. So I still wish them the best. So don't get mad. Don't get angry. In fact, get inspired. It's like, damn, this person fucking sucks and they're still making moves, I could do the same thing.
You said something a bit that resonated about watering down the value, and that hit home.
Yeah.
How do I guess, find or focus the value then?
Yeah. Okay. I'll tell you what I did. He's asking. He said that the part where I said he's watering down his own value resonated with him, and he's asking, okay, so how do you stop doing that? And the thing is, this is why I like hanging out with guys like Marcel. Actually, Marcel's been one of the most transformational people in my life, and it's because even in the absence of I'm the best in the world, he's been saying that since he was 17. Now it's kind of. It's funny how it's kind of true now. He's one of the best for sure, right? But 8 years ago when he was just starting, there was no reason for him to say that shit. So being around someone like him, and even just guys like myself, where there's value there to be provided, but you're kind of hiding it, or you're stifling it, or you're suppressing it because you're afraid of looking a certain type of way. It's like if you just literally flip the script and say, no, I'm the fucking best in the world. Right? What's your intention, bro? Is your intention to just run a little coaching company, or is your intention to be one of the most transformational humans on the fucking planet? If you have that kind of mentality about it and you think and feel that way, even in the worst of moments where it's you have no clients coming in, you have no money coming in, you have no idea where these clients are going to come from, you'll still have trust. You'll still have energy in the tank to go out and crush it. Right? And it's because the intention, the underlying mindset is just so abundant and energetically attractive, it's impossible to lose. Right? So, again, life has peaks and troughs. So even the most confident people like Marcel has peaks and troughs. I have peaks and troughs. I have moments in business where I'm like, what the fuck's going on? You know, nothing's working. You know, this type of content isn't working. That ad isn't working. The team isn't closing for some fucking reason. Like, what the fuck's going on? And then we have other times where it's like, I can't believe that worked. Oh, holy shit, that just came out of nowhere, right? So, you know, a lot of times, even in entrepreneurship and success, it comes like the success comes to you in the most indirect ways, but it starts with you being completely unapologetic about who you are. And even like, you know, you might even be like watering down the results that you can provide for people because it's like, you know, can I actually do that for them? Like, okay, what if they don't get results? So it's like you're basing the whole way you like sell and frame to people on like scarcity or what if I don't do to like, what if I fail them, you know? But you should be doing the fucking complete opposite. Right? Because the more you lean into like, I'm going to crush it for them, they're going to get fucking results, right? And even if they don't get results, just give them some more time. That's the cool thing about your kind of business, that you run the business. So like, let's say you run like an 8-week course and, you know, after 8 weeks, they're not making more money. It's like, all right, fuck you, you know, good luck, buddy. You know, it's like, no, you could be like, hey, look, you know, I know you didn't get the results you wanted. So, you know, I want to see you win, so I'll spend some more time with you. That's the cool part, you know, and it's really funny. Like, when you have that kind of approach to business, people just fucking get results, which is cool. So hopefully that helps, man. But like, it just starts with like, you know, I'm the best in the fucking world, and start to talk, like say that on social media. Look, guys, I'm one of the best coaches in the world. And if you work with me, you're literally going to make more money and you're going to change your life forever. How do I do this? And how can I guarantee this? I can't. But what I guarantee you is that if you don't take action on this right now and working with me, nothing's going to change. What's insanity? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. But if you work with me, I guarantee you, what I do guarantee you is that I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to give you the resources. I'm going to give you the tools so that you can be the best version of yourself, and then that person is going to go get results. You get me? Okay. If you're interested in that and you want to work with me more closely one-on-one, I'm a Navy SEAL. I'm a Navy SEAL. I'm training this. I'm training NLP. I'm training blah, blah. I will literally get you results. Okay, if you're interested in that, DM me right now with the word mindset, and we'll see what we can do for you. I don't want to work with just anybody, okay? I don't want to work with just anybody. Success is not for everyone, okay? But if you've got what it takes to get to that next level, you're coachable, you're resourceful, you're ready to break through to that next level, and you're tired of being mediocre, I'm your guy. That's how you should be talking to people. Yeah. I'll send you the recording. But the idea is there. Look, don't forget about the recording, bro. Like, just feel the energy. Feel the energy, because remember, the words don't matter. The technical words that you use don't actually matter. It's the energy behind the word. So don't copy me and say it the way I said it. Say it in the way you would say it. Say it in the way Zach would say it. The best version of Zach, right? You have to think and feel as the version of yourself that's already at the fucking top. And then behave like that person right now. Talk like that person right now. Feel like that person right now. Yeah? And you already know this, and this is just like a gentle reminder in that direction. We all know this. Right? We all want to be the best version of ourselves. Yes? Yes. We all want to conquer and dominate. Yes? Yes. Okay. So you already know this, and this is just a gentle reminder. And I say that you already know this to give you the look up, Zach, to give you the self-trust. Trust yourself. You know how to do this. Yeah? Good answer? Yep. Cool. Awesome. Thanks for that question. Let me get one of the guys in the back. Yellow shirt. What's your name? Yellow shirt? Yeah, correct. So he's asking if self-trust is the opposite of self-doubt. Yeah, it's 100%, right? If you doubt yourself even 1%, that means you don't fully trust yourself, right? If you even compare yourself 1% to other people, like guys, be in your own category. You can be in the same industry as someone, but you can be completely in your own category, right? That's why it's like, you know, you could play football or something, right? And different, let's say I like watching, I don't like watching sports that much because I don't like watching other people make their dreams come true. I like making my own dreams come true, you know, but I do like watching football every now and again, especially the Dolphins are hot right now. I'm a Dolphins fan, you know, the Dolphins are hot, right? But so is there one blueprint to like being an amazing quarterback? No, there's tall guys that crush it. There's short guys that crush it. There's strong guys that crush it, weak guys that crush it. Like Tom Brady, the best quarterback in history up to date, was not qualified. Like he sucked, bro. Like he was slow. He's unathletic, right? But he used his unique unfair advantages to make himself stand out. He wasn't like the typical. He was drafted all the way at the end of the draft. Or like basically, he's like nobody wanted him, and they just kind of picked him up, whatever. And but he showed promise. He showed execution. He showed intelligence. He showed good decision making. So he made up for all of his deficiencies by having major strengths in other areas. Well, same thing with you. You know, it's like if you lean into those unfair advantages that you have, you'd have no self-doubt because what you lack either doesn't matter because your strengths are so strong, or the weaknesses that you do have, you can find people in your team, you can find people in your network that can make up for those weaknesses, right? Like me and Marcel were business partners. I'm like the backbone of the business. He's like the spirit of the business, right? I'm very on the ground, on the roots. I'm very good one-on-one. I know how to turn someone who's not getting results and get them fucking results. Well, Marcel's really good at bringing eyeballs. He's good at like garnering attention. He's good at bringing that, right? You guys see that? You guys see that dynamic? You guys even see that in the way we speak? Yeah? Cool. So, find people like that, right? Because remember, success is a team sport. So whatever creates self-doubt for you, it's like, okay, well, if I just found someone who had that strength and had that skill set and had that unique gift of their own and we partnered up together, well, it's like, amazing things can happen. Amazing things, magical things can happen. So, self-doubt is really just like fear. Eliminate your fear and you'll trust yourself some more. Good question, though. I had this guy in the back. Yeah, I got it. So he's saying, what if you're being unapologetic about your success, but that comes out offensive to other people? Yeah. So, yeah, let me go get my Bugatti and I'll tell you about it. No. What color is your Bugatti? No. When I did my Tulum immersion last year, it was at a hotel, my friend's hotel. It was in the middle of the jungle, right? So the entire hotel is built by there's a story that makes sense to this, but there was this indigenous, it was built by indigenous Mayans, like ancestral Mayans. And so the hotel's just got like this energy. It's like in the middle of a forest, beautiful. The trees are like overgrowing into the forest, so it feels like you're in there. There's crazy wildlife. There's toucans. There's little green parrots. There's tarantulas that are kind of scary, right? But and then there's it's just a beautiful, beautiful piece of property. And so when I did the Tulum immersion there, it was pretty casual. I wasn't wearing a suit in Mexico in the middle of the fucking jungle. No, I was wearing like flip flops and like joggers. And when I would post some of those videos on my Instagram, people would be like, I'm not taking advice from someone with flip-flops on. It's like, what the, or like your toes are out, bro. Like what the? So they were like shit talking my feet and like not even listening to the content that I was saying. So the way I would clap back at them in the comments, I'd be like, oh yeah, look, I was hosting an immersion with 16 of my top clients in Tulum at my best friend's hotel. What do you wear at your international immersions? Just to kind of clap back at them. It's like, fuck them, So what do you wear at your fucking immersions? You have so much to say, right? So, I love irreverent humor. Irreverent humor is some of my favorite. Like some of the darkest humor is the thing that makes me laugh the most, But when it comes to expressing yourself, it depends on what kind of persona and personal brand you want to build. Like I'll talk about polarizing things, but I won't use like mainstream things to be polarizing. Like you'll never hear me talk about like transgender, blah, 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 blah. Like it's whatever. Like I think people like to each their own and they should do whatever they want. But don't compel me to say certain things, right? Like don't compel me like, the same way if you think your own thoughts, you're going to have thoughts that offend other people. Well, fuck it. Like they're going to be offended, but don't compel me to think and feel certain ways. No, I'm in complete control of what I do and say, So, and then, you can take that like even politically and whatnot. So I don't like to polarize myself in that way because I think there's so much more significant things to talk about. I'm not in this business just to fucking get attention. Like, I don't care. In fact, I don't even like attention. I like less attention now than ever because it's just like people are just so hurtful. They throw out words and it's like I don't even want to deal with these people. I'd rather have a small audience, like the way I have my audience right now in my business. I have a small audience, but very high paying clients. Small audience, high paying clients. So like I haven't posted content in like 4 months, but I still get clients all the time. Why? Well, it's because I've garnered a brand and an ecosystem where I don't need to fucking say and do like offensive shit in order to garner attention. Now, you also want to balance that with also just being true to yourself, right? Like I'm not like some charlatan who's like out to cause a ruckus or, I don't like just creating like unnecessary problems. I tend to be conflict averse, right? I know how to have confrontation and I handle confrontation very, very well because confrontation builds trust, but I tend to be more conflict averse because like what the fuck, like why attract all this negative attention to me in the first place? So, I'll talk about like probably like the most controversial types of things that I talk about is in the realm of like spiritual stuff. Like, I'm a very spiritual person, but I also tend to be like kind of an asshole sometimes, like, fuck, you're spiritual, like go make money, bitch, like pussy, So whenever I start talking about stuff like that, yeah, maybe some people get pissed off, but like whatever, like, I don't know, that's kind of like the Chad in me that wants to come out, the Miami Chad, right? So yeah, I'm very dynamic. I'm very dichotomous. It's like, okay, I can be up here, I can be down here, I can be all of it. And just let the chips fall where they may. Like, dude, if you walked around your life, if you walked around every single day worried about what other people might say, you're gonna be prepared for a very uneventful life. If you're walking around and you're living your life based upon what other people might say or think or feel about you, and you're reacting to that, be prepared for a very uneventful life. Because You can be the most righteous person, do everything amazing, everything by the books, everything right, and they'll still crucify you, right? Look at Jesus, right? Now, take the religion part out of it. I think Jesus was a real person. I don't know if he was the son of God. I think he was just like such a tuned in, tapped in person that he was basically, like, we're all sons of God, by the way. So, and he was preaching a message of good and love and wholesomeness, and they fucking put him on, like, they still crucified him, right? So just know that the same way that people might do really horrible things to others is the same reason why they might talk shit about you, right? They're in low vibration, they're in comparison, they want to tear you down. Bro, no one that's massively successful that's ahead of you in life is talking shit about you. It's only people that are below you. You guys get where I'm going with that, right? No one below you in life is talking shit about you. So you want to associate and surround yourself with the people that push you forward, right? Whenever I have people around me and maybe they're making less money or maybe they're less confident, maybe they're on their purpose, on their journey, I'm never like, ha, loser. No, I'm like, bro, you're on it, man. Like, what do you need? How can I help you? How can I support your dream? How can I support you in the best creation of what you're looking to do with your life, right? So, just know that it's like, if you're being authentic and you're expressing what you want to the world and you're receiving negative feedback or you're receiving negative comments, negative words, negative energy from it, look, it's just they're vibrating at a low frequency. Because even if I find things that I don't agree with, I literally just don't give it attention. It's like, oh, or I'll see it, I'll acknowledge it, and be like, okay, whatever, that's their opinion. Next. Like, okay, oh, that's what they think, great. Whatever, next. Oh, that's what they think, great. Okay, next. Whatever. It's like doesn't even occur to me. Great question. Does that answer it? It's like you just be yourself. Whatever. As long as you're doing things for the right reasons, it's like who cares what the fucking consequences? He had his hand up first. So say it again. I think I kind of heard it. Also, like speak up. Speak up. So one quick thing to coach you guys. When you guys speak, I love participation. Like the more questions you guys have, the better. I love. I can sit here and talk about blah 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 for 4 hours and like not take a single question. But I'd rather answer your guys' specific questions. Okay. So when you speak up, make sure that the person all the way, like I want them in the lobby to hear you. Like project your voice, practice it. So go ahead, go again.
Usually I wait till I lost my voice with the tiger.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I've seen this kind of sine wave graph with dopamine, and you got like peaks in dopamine, and then after that it needs to fall and it falls below.
Yeah.
It returns. I'm wondering, is that what we're talking about here? Because you got this axis, which is like time, it's going up and down. What's the y-axis? Is it like vibrational state? Is it dopamine like?
Oh, okay. Yeah, this wasn't like a graph with an x and an x. Usually the y-axis is time and the x-axis is like a specific measurement like money or energy or something. This is more like think about like sound waves, like sine, cosine, tangents. So math. I did, huh? Amplitude is a function. This is frequency, right? So light and sound. Light and sound is everything, right? Everything exists as light and sound in this dimension. Okay. Quantum physics goes deep. Remember, spiritual immersion. I'm in the Utah state of mind right now. But you're thinking about like y equals mx plus b type of mathematics, where it's like slope and all that type of thing. Guys, I'm very good at. I'm not naturally. Who thinks they're not good at math? Liars. Everyone's good at math. You just have to train your brain to be. I'm not naturally good at math, and I did AP Physics and AP Calculus in high school, and it literally trained my brain to be good at math. So I remember shit like I was one of my clients is an astrophysicist, and we were talking about gravity and shit, and I remember I remember that. So gravity, the way gravity is measured is as acceleration. So every single second, an object that's dropping to the earth is increasing in velocity at a certain unit, which is 9.81 meters per second squared. Meters per second. So it's gaining 9.81. So that's the measurement for gravity. And he was just like, how the fuck do you know that? Bro? Like it's like complete, like he was like, how the fuck do you know this? This is like basic astrophysics, and like you don't even do this type of thing. You're not a scientist, But I've trained my brain. Because I did AP Physics in high school, and I passed the exam. Oh, by the way, this is also like it's very, very triumphant to do what I did. Like I wasn't naturally good at math, and my teacher actually. This is why it's important to have like people that believe in you. My physics teacher, was like, Jose, you're getting C's and D's on the quizzes and exams. You can do so much fucking better. Like you have it in you. You're smart. You're intelligent. You're not practicing. Yeah, maybe it's harder for you than some of the other kids in the class. Because I had kids in my class that would like they wouldn't even look at the fucking screen or like what the teacher's doing, and they already knew the answers. It's just like you ever meet people that are just that good at math? Yeah, that wasn't me. But he's like he worked on it, right? I would actually what is it? The porn? His Pornhub turned on. I would during lunch, I would walk with my friends. I'd be like, guys, let's go for a walk. And then when we get close to like my physics class, I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna go study, guys, bye. And so I basically tricked them into walking me to go, study more. But and then I got really good at it. So my whole point with this, at least this quick little story, is I ended up passing the AP physics exam. There was 33 kids in the class, and only like 8 of them passed. I was one of the 8. So all the kids who were like beating me, I ended up beating all of them. It's because I stayed calm, I stayed cool under pressure. I figured out ways to take the exam in a very effective way. Boom, I passed the exam. I got college credit for it. So by the time I was in college, I was already a sophomore. I had so many credits. So coming back to this, no, this isn't the slope, the y equals mx plus b. This is sine and cosine. So it's like energy exists as particles and waves, and light and sound frequencies look like this. So for example, the red frequency has a much lower and slower frequency than the blue frequency, or like a violet, right? Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, blue, indigo, violet, right? So this is like the scope of the magnetic spectrum, or the spectrum that we can see. Say it again. Electromagnetic. Did I say magnetic? Electromagnetic spectrum. So the difference in colors is the difference in frequency. So red vibrates slower, blue vibrates higher. So it's the same way. In the same way, when you vibrate low energetically, you are not attractive to the things that you want. When you are highly vibrational, when you have high vibrational energy, you are very attractive. Does that make sense? You guys get where I'm going with this? Oh, cool. So we're having like a fucking science class here, But it's frequency. So the whole point of this, and this is the whole point of this here, is to recognize that, look, you have a certain baseline in your life, and as you raise that baseline, you're more in a peak state. And even then, it's like the peak states go even higher. You create space for more of a peak state. Okay. Does that make sense? Yeah. So he's asking, how do I like raise my baseline? He's basically asking how to raise the baseline energy in a different way. So basically, it's the trough isn't bad, because you said, oh, like, how do I get to the good state? That this isn't bad, bro. This is also good. It's just guidance. It's just guidance. You guys get where I'm going with that, right? Yes. Cool. Troughs or low states are just guidance telling you to connect more with yourself. So whenever I feel anxious, whenever I feel sad or down, I'm not like beating myself. I used to do this. I used to be like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be confident. I'm supposed to be, anything that's, if should and supposed to be, delete that from your vocabulary. You shouldn't be anything. Just be yourself. A lot of times, like, I'll talk to, Kevin, I tell this to Kevin a lot. It's like, oh, I should be doing more calls, or I should be closing more. It's like, no, you don't have to do anything. You guys realize you don't have to do anything. You guys get that? Yeah. If you guys want to play video games on the couch and eat potato chips, go fucking do that. You're a free and sovereign individual. You can do whatever you want. Okay? You can do whatever you want with your life. So you don't have to be. Who the fuck said you have to be successful? Now, in that, it's like you guys are choosing to be successful. That's what you actually want to go to. But remember, it's a choice. You don't have to do those things. And then when you take action from a place of a lack of shame, there's no guilt associated with it. You get better results. You're more in tune. So the way you sort of get into that peak state is you realize that the troughs aren't necessarily bad. They just are. You treat it like, if a little kid, if you have kids, not that you know of, right? Okay. So if you have kids and you take them to I don't have kids, but I once was a kid. I was born at a very young age. Okay. And I was born so young I couldn't walk. It's pretty wild. Couldn't talk, but I overcame. And okay, so if you take a little kid to the grocery store, you take them to Publix, right? And Publix is what we have in Florida, and not Ralph's. But you take them to Publix, I want the candy, and then it's like, no, you can't have the candy. It's like, nah, and they throw a fucking temper tantrum. Are you gonna react? It's like, shut up, whatever, just come on, let's go. Only a parent that's like super fucking stressed out. It's like, no, shut the fuck up, get in the car. But like someone, like a parent that's like centered and cool or whatever, is just like, no, we can't have the candy. But I want the candy. It's no candy. Come on. You just so same thing with your emotions, right? Are you like reacting to your emotions in that way? It's like, no, you're supposed to feel this way, No, it's just you kind of give it this way. And by the way, like this is, I'm going to be an excellent parent, by the way, because I know, like, I run with my clients. Remember the little bear exercise? Yeah. So the little bear, I have this exercise called the little bear exercise. If you guys want to write this down, this is a beautiful, beautiful exercise to do with yourself. And beautiful exercise to do. And then we're going to wrap up in a few minutes here for lunch, guys. So sit tight. We got about another 20 or 30 minutes, and then I'll let you guys go for lunch. So if you have any last second questions or any if you want to pick my brain a little bit more about some of these things, now would be the time. But little bear exercise is this. Now, what you'll do is in those moments where you're feeling like some kind of negative emotion, right? You view it like it's a little kid. When a little kid is throwing a tantrum, are you as a parent who's strong and grounded and confident and connected to themselves, a parent knows not to give it attention. They know to not emotionally react or to beat the kid down, badger them down. A lot of our parents, when you threw tantrums, right, what did they do? No, shut the fuck up. No, sit down. No, you can't do that. So, you lose confidence over time. But you, as an excellent parent to yourself, right, this is a version of inner child work. So you're speaking to that inner child from a place of compassion and understanding. So you say, hey, okay, I know you feel a certain way. I know that you want a certain outcome and it's not happening for you and it upsets you. I get that. And as a kid, you threw these tantrums because you knew it got attention from your parents. Because you knew your parents would be like, oh, fine, here's the candy bar. Even if your parents did that one time, boom, you just had evidence of a strategy that works. So now you'll cry more and throw more tantrums. So in that way, it's like you're acknowledging the fact that, okay, look, I love you. Like you're talking to a little kid. Like if you talk to a little kid, you get down on it, it's like, hey, look, little Tommy, look, I love you. And I recognize that, you look them in the eyes and you actually, communicate with them. You communicate with them like a human. Hey, look, I understand that, you're upset about this thing, okay? But the reality of it is, I love you for it, and I know you're just trying to help. I know you're just trying to express where you're at. But the reality of it is, to get to where we want to go, to get to the outcome where there's more peace, more harmony, more money to buy you more candy bars, right? In order to get to that point, we need a different strategy. This strategy doesn't work. So I know you're trying to help, but this strategy doesn't work. Does that make sense? Yes. And so it's like you can even do this with yourself, and it's very healing. It's extremely healing. So have this process with yourself where you can just kind of give yourself the space to be a child, to throw that tantrum, and in throwing that tantrum or having that negative emotion, you give yourself the space to unapologetically feel it. And you encourage it. It's like, hey, look, what's going on? Tell me, what is it? What is it? And so you allow it to come up. And by allowing it to come up, you can identify it and you can say, look, okay, I love you. And I know you're trying to help, but this strategy doesn't work. And then you can coach yourself. This is the little bear exercise. So you give yourself the space to feel it. And then you can coach yourself and say, look, this strategy no longer serves us. And I'm going to hire you for a new strategy. There's a new thing that we're going to do. And treat it like it's like a mission, right? If you ever play with kids, like my little nephew, it's like, hey, we're going to go on a mission. Are you ready for the mission? They get excited. They're like, oh my gosh, a mission, a new thing, a new adventure. And then it's like, all right, and we're just like chasing lizards at the park or something or playing with my dog. You want to go on a mission? Okay, catch, my dog's name is Jojo. Catch Jojo. And the thing is, Jojo's deaf. So he can't he'll start running around and you can't call him because it's like he's with this one time I was on the phone with Marcel on FaceTime, and I was walking Jojo. I let him go off the leash at the park, and there's a family having a picnic, and Jojo starts running around the family, just whatever, and the family's looking at me like, dude, can you get your fucking dog, and I'm like, I can't, sorry, because I can't call him, so I had to walk up and be like, come on, buddy, what are you doing? So, but yeah, little kids get excited when you give them a new assignment. And you did it from love. You didn't badger them into it, fucking beat them down until to the point where they just have no self-control or self-sovereignty, if you will. So this is a way that you can have this conversation with yourself, because this is, if you're a boy, this is how you transcend into a man. It's the integration of the boy and the man, right? It's the integration of the boy and the man. And the boy in you is the part of you that's creative. It's the part of you that wants to adventure. It wants to have fun. It wants to, feel whatever's going on right now. It wants to explore and play, right? And then the man is, no, we need to make money. We need to, go pay the bills. We need to be successful. We need status and accomplishments and accolades. And we need to, be someone that's important. We need materials and all that, right? So so which one's right? Well, they're both right. Because the thing is, if you're too much on the man spectrum, you might have a lot of things. This is a lot of my clients, right? A lot of my clients are like this. They make shit tons of money, millionaires, but they have a really shitty quality of life. Their health is shit. Their emotional connection is shit. They look 30 years older than they actually are. Like, bro, how are you 25 and you have wrinkles on your eyes and shit, And so that kind of thing, right? So the quality, you can tell that the quality of life is down because they're too much in the man. So, okay, but the man is necessary because you need to have stability, you need to have protection, you need to provide for people, you need to be a leader, okay? But you also need to combine that and integrate that with the boy. right? But the thing is, if you're too much of a boy, well, it's like now you're just playing, and this is like where like spiritual, like I call this spiritual bypassing. Someone who's like super spiritual, just all the time, yay, spiritual, like money doesn't matter, brr, 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 brr. And it's like they're just all play 100% of the time. It's like, look, that's good and play, but also you need to integrate that with the man. So both are necessary, both are positive, and when you integrate them together, that's how you have like a well-rounded life. Okay? Does that make sense about how to, you can use the little bear exercise to cultivate connection and integration between the boy and the man? That's where you get crazy fucking results, and where like business becomes super easy, where it doesn't even feel like you're doing business. It feels like play. This to me is like play, right? When I'm up here, it feels like playing an instrument. I used to play the trumpet. When I'm up here, it feels like I'm playing an instrument. Like I'm not necessarily, I'm not losing energy. I'm in flow. It just feels fucking fun. And then when I talk about other ideas, and I talk to clients, and I talk to other groups, and this to me is even fun in the sense of like, it's the scientific part of my mind finding new ways to articulate ideas, right? Because every version of every next progression and every next level of my life, I get new insights. So I'm able to explain things better. So you think I explain shit good now? Wait another year, And this is the cultivation of mastery. Mastery. Be world class at what you do. Okay? And then when you like start to actually achieve world class success, and you have exceptional results, and you have an exceptional thing to offer the world, it's like, bro, you're always in a peak state. Does that make sense? You guys get that?
Yes.
You guys want that?
Yes.
Cool. Let me come. Yeah, Julius. Julius was up first.
I'm afraid of like trusting myself or doing something that I perceive as trusting myself and failing really badly and not knowing the difference or why I actually failed.
So so on Zoom, he's afraid of trusting himself and then things failing?
Yeah.
Yeah, look, life is risky. So failing doesn't necessarily mean you have to lose trust in yourself. Bro, sometimes this is the dichotomy of control. Sometimes things are out of your control.
Right.
Yeah, that's the truth. Sometimes things are just out of your control. Now you want to be honest with yourself. Did you work hard enough? Were you actually being resourceful?
1000%.
Yeah, okay. He said 1,000% on Zoom. By the way, if there's any questions on Zoom, Tyrell, Jack, anybody, let me know. If you gave it your all and it still didn't happen the way it was intended to, maybe this is a gift. Maybe this is a blessing. In fact, the universe is probably guiding you out of it, right? There's that old story of like a Chinese farmer, and it's like, oh, the horse ran away, and it's like, and then all the neighbors in the village are like, oh, how terrible. He's like, maybe. And then it's like, oh, my son went and got the horse and brought the horse back, and it brought more horses. And then the neighbors are like, oh, that's amazing. And it's like, maybe. It's like, okay, my son was riding one of the new horses and broke his legs. And the neighbors are like, oh, that's horrible. And he's like, oh, maybe. And then the land was in a big war, so the conscription officers came to draft his son. And when they came to draft his son, they found out that his legs were broken, so they couldn't draft him, so he's not going to die in war. So the neighbors are like, that's amazing. And he's like, maybe. So the whole point of the story is like, whatever happens, you don't know if that actually serves you, right? So that horrible heartbreak that you had with that girl before, right? Like, you gave it your all, you were totally there, you really, really tried to make the relationship work, but it ended. Hey, dude, maybe that was supposed to happen. As painful as it was, that was supposed to happen so that you open up the space for a better relationship to come. Maybe that business idea that you tried so hard and tried so rigidly to stick to and make it work, right? Maybe it was the wrong person in your business, so it was meant to fail. So maybe you go back into that business, but you find better people to associate with so that way you can secure your success. And on and on and on. Okay, so sometimes you can be at your very best and it still fails. World-class people fail too, right? What's that? Tom Brady, right? Like Tom Brady, he went to 11 Super Bowls, which is crazy, and he won 7, so he failed 4 times. He failed 4 times. That's pretty tough. Like to fail the top game, especially like one of the seasons he broke like every NFL record ever. And he still made it. He made it to he was undefeated the entire season, and then makes it to the championship game and then loses that game. Like that's tough. And then the average quarterback retires around 35. He ends up going to 45 and wins 3 more Super Bowls. So if he had retired at that point, he would have only won 4. But he has a championship world-class mindset. So he stayed longer and really maximized his potential. He won 7, more than any team ever. So yeah, great question. Was there anything on Zoom?
Nothing.
Okay, just more line R's, as. Okay, Blue.
Yeah, we got one here.
Okay, well he's first.
Yeah, so this is more of a observation question.
Uh-huh.
I'm noticing both you and Marcel and Jan are, I guess in my view, extremely young and have a lot of success. So what do you, if you can pinpoint like one thing that was the biggest
Investing in myself. 100%. I started heavily investing in myself when I was 24, like after university. That's when I really started to go hard, and it started small, like, you know, a couple thousand here, a couple thousand there, all the way to the point where like I don't do things if they're not like 25, 30K plus. It's like not even worth my time. If someone isn't charging that high of a price, I know that they don't have like that world-class belief. So that's how I operate. But yeah, I was investing in myself, bro. Like I spent in the last 4 or 5 years since like 2018 or so, 2019, I've spent more than $200,000 on coaches, masterminds, mentorships. And by the way, like whenever I talk to people about like, oh, like I'm in credit card debt, like 5,000, man, like, and they're crying about it. I'm like, bro, 5,000, dude. I went $90,000. Like Jan says 82,000. I went $90,000 in debt from loans, credit cards, all this shit to finance myself. I don't come from a rich family, bro. Like I had to figure out all on my own. I paid for college all on my own. I paid for, when I lived in that downtown condo in Miami, I paid for that all on my own. All the travel expenses to go around Europe for 2 months, Argentina 2 months, renting out a hotel in Tulum and bringing my client, like all this shit is fucking expensive, bro, you know? And then on top of that, like world-class marketers, world-class business coaches, world-class spiritual coaches, world-class energetic coaches, like all of it, like you name it, I've done it, right? But that's the reason you're seeing the culmination of a world-class skill set. Like write this down, any world-class person is standing on the shoulders of giants. Any world-class person is standing on the shoulders of giants. Anybody who says that they were successful on their own is fucking lying, you know? So the way I went about finding mentors is I kind of let the universe guide me, right? When I had situations and opportunities to invest in myself, I gave it some time. I talked to them. I figure out like what it is that they're actually doing. And if it felt right, very energetic, right? If it felt right, I fucking did it. And if I didn't have the money, it's like I remember one of the biggest investments I made was a $18,000 like marketing thing. And the guy who owns that marketing, you guys know Tanner Chidester? You guys ever heard of him? He's like one of the best marketers. I have his personal phone number, and I didn't even do it like, he doesn't give out his personal phone number unless you're in like his top tier thing, which is like 100K. And I paid him 18K. But the thing is, when I went through also too, like when I do programs, I don't fucking complain. I never, even if I like genuinely don't like the program or like it didn't live up to the expectations that I had, I literally don't fucking complain ever. In fact, what I'll do is I'll offer constructive feedback from a place of like, hey, I thought the program was good for this, this, and this, but I don't think it was like, and I'll never fucking ask for it. Bro, a refund? Oh my gosh, that's like a curse word to me. Refund? Nah. Unless like someone's like scamming me or something, like that's happened to me before. I've paid for like a fitness coaching thing, and he's like, yeah, we're gonna do like physique posing and diet and all this stuff, and then it was only like they were gonna give me workouts. Like, you fucking lied. So like, yeah, like I charge that shit back. But outside of that shit, it's like, you know, I literally don't refund anything because any program that you do is only as good as you make it. Any investment that you make in yourself, you know, yes, they're going to give you the info, they're going to give you tools, they're going to give you resources, but it has to be you that steps up and goes and applies those things. Because if you apply it in a haphazard way, if you're not reaching out for help, if you're not being proactive and being resourceful, well, you're not going to get results. That's why, Tanner Tedesco, that's why he gave me his number, because I was very proactive. I was like always DMing. I was pissing him off. One thing I tell my clients all the time is like, annoy me, right? I'm like, annoy me. I get pissed off if you don't hit me up, and it like a week or two goes by and you don't hit me up. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Bro, you pay me a lot of fucking money. Use me. No, you pay me a lot of money. So like, use the resources that you have, because the thing is, if you don't get results, that doesn't help me, you know? Like, when you get good results, you're gonna tell your friends. And when you tell your friends, they're gonna wanna pay me money too. It's mutually beneficial for you to get results and for me to be on your ass. But it also has, I'm gonna give you all the resources, I'm gonna give you everything, but you also have to step up. So for me, it's always been investing in myself, right? Voraciously. Every year I set a budget for investing in myself, right? And I always increase it by 10, 15% depending on what I make, right, in that year, how business goes. But, every single year I have a budget to invest in myself. And depending on which area of my life I'm looking to cultivate expertise in or mastery in, I'll invest heavily in that area. So when I worked with Tanner, by the way, the reason he became a close personal friend of mine, where I text him every now and again, not all the time, but a close personal friend is probably an exaggeration. He's a close acquaintance, if you will, a high level acquaintance that I have that I can hit up whenever I want. And he never ever does that. The reason he did that was because I didn't complain about shit. I got results, and I asked really good questions. I bugged him all the time. But because of that, I cultivated relationships, right? So investing in yourself, networking, and relationships. Those are the two things. And my favorite investments to make are the ones that actually have bigger group dynamics, because there's a lot of really fucking interesting people in those groups. Really, really interesting people all over the world that you can connect with. You can drop in their city. I can go to any fucking city in the world right now and just send out a message, hey, who's here? Boom, connections. And if there's not a person directly that I know, then they have someone in their network that they can connect with. I've done this with some of my clients. Remember you guys, I did this with Louis Foggy. One of my clients, Louis Foggy, the astrophysicist. He landed in Bucharest, Romania. And I don't know anybody personally in Bucharest, but I sent out a couple text messages. Boom, I got him sitting at the table with like these millionaires. And he was just so grateful. He's like, holy shit, because remember, one fucking connection will change your life forever. Also write this down. What's the best way to network with high-level people? Is to have high-level people introduce you. Okay? Have other high-level people introduce you to other high-level people. That's why I invest in myself so much. Because I leverage those personal relationships so that way I can get the best results possible. You guys enjoying this so far? Yes. Amazing. You guys get a lot of value out of this? Yes. Cool. Get up for yourselves. You guys are here investing in yourself. To really answer your question, you're investing in yourself. So you guys are in the right room. And everything that you guys are doing right now is in pursuit of greatness. So I think that's a noble cause. Levon, did you have a question? Yeah. Good. Yeah. It comes. So he's asking. So if you have that many mentors, how are you like filtering out what's supposed to work for you and what doesn't, or how do you not get programmed into like what they're talking about? Yeah. So one thing as well, when you're getting guidance, what you'll have to learn is to emulate what they're saying and then like use it in your own way, right? Emulate. Don't copy anybody. Copy yourselves. You guys have your own unique path. Be 100% yourselves. But what you'll want to do is there's certain aspects or characteristics of other people that you'll want to emulate. So I mean, even what you're seeing in me, right? Like a long time ago, I decided to customize myself like a video game character. Okay, so I sat down and I'm like, okay, if I can just like pick and choose what characteristics I had, like almost like in a video game, it's like, all right, I want this much magic power and I want this much strength and stealth and speech, whatever, all the fucking, I don't know, I never played World of Warcraft, but attack power. So I was like, okay, like what parts of my life do I want to maximize? I want to maximize my health and fitness. I want to maximize my communication skill set. I want to maximize my spiritual abundance, my spiritual connection. I want to maximize my relationships in the romantic area because those are always a big sticking point for me. I want to maximize my ability to do business and create things out of nothing. My creative. So that's where I made those investments. Now, when people give me suggestions or I ask for coaching, I always sit on it, and especially nowadays, I almost don't even need guidance anymore. Like I very rarely ask for guidance now because I just trust myself. The answer's within me. So if I just kind of sit, usually what I'll do if I do ask for guidance is more of like in a volleying kind of way. It's like, hey, I have these ideas. I trust your opinion. What do you think? Right? I have these ideas. This is how I'm perceiving it. What do you think? But I'm never like, how should I do? I'm not like crying about it, But so in that way, it's like I can receive someone's guidance and figure out what they're trying to say, but also like add my own flavor to it, add my own twist. You got me? So and this is a function of just trusting yourself. Yeah? You had a question? Sorry, I skipped you before, but yeah, go ahead.
Hypothetically, you lose everything you have, your network, your friends, your business, and you have to rebuild it, and particularly your coaching business and your speaking. What are the steps that you take?
Cool. So he's for Zoom, he's asking if I lost everything, my network, my connections, my money, my business, all these things, how would I start over? The very first thing I would start over is the thing is like, unless like all my friends die or something, the networks aren't going to disappear. But let's say like reputation sabotage or something. So I would do nothing. That would be the first thing I would do. Do nothing, right? Abraham Lincoln said this about like chopping down trees. If I had 6 hours to chop down a tree, I would sharpen my axe for 5 hours and I would spend 1 hour actually chopping it down. I would do that, right? I would sit down and strategize. Okay, go into my monk mode, meditative state, enter the quantum realm, and think about things in a different way. It's like, okay, well, I want to recreate success for myself. Obviously, that's the intent. With the intention of recreating success. I wouldn't give up. Giving up. I hate giving up more than I hate the word refund. But so I'm not going to give up on myself, but I'll just re-strategize, a different approach, different strategy, right? The reason I chose even the coaching, I'm not even like married to the coaching stuff. The reason I did it is because it's just very synergistic with my life purpose. But I'm not attached to it. I'm not attached. If it fucking goes to shit, whatever. Like, okay, great. Next thing. I do love the coaching stuff, and I do love interacting with you. For me, the most rewarding thing is not even the money. It's the facilitation of transformation that actually leads to results. When I see someone who isn't confident in themselves, and I see them actually get to that next level, it's like it's really, really amazing, and it's so gratifying to see, even for them, And then they share that with the people that they love. So. If I had to start over, it's like, I'll spend a lot of time in introspection and reflection. I even do this all the time now, right? Before I even came here, I spent 2 or 3 days of like reflecting and introspecting within myself to like dig deep. Okay, what do I want to say? What do I want to say at Limitless Wealth that's really going to leave an impact on these people? What do I want to say that's going to increase their levels of self-trust by not 10%, but 100%? How am I going to help these people find the answers that they need in their life? So, and then I'll just go from there. So it'd obviously be circumstantial. Like, it's hard for me to like picture being in that moment because I don't think in those terms. But I would just get, 5 hours sharpening the sword, and then 1 hour swinging the sword, and then I would the action that I would take would be in the direction of like, okay, what's the most value that I can provide to the world right now? Right? So I know how to facilitate transformation in people. So and I have a lot of business knowledge. I have a lot of negotiation knowledge. I have a lot of like weird quirky knowledge about physics and all this other shit, right? Very good memory. I probably like learn what's the next best skill set that I can learn that'll add to my repertoire, my arsenal of knowledge and information that I can share with the world. Just go cultivate a new one, whichever one seems valuable at that time. That's how I would handle it. I would get really, really fucking resourceful. I would get really, really aggressive about action after I've had a time of like, mastery and reconnecting with myself. Does that make sense?